For 20 years, Tom Landry's Cowboys were America's team, the nation's first family of football. Love them or hate them, the Cowboys won and won often, establishing a dynasty that lasted until their last playoff appearance in 1985. Now there's a whole new cast in Dallas, led by head coach Jimmy Johnson, and featuring the NFL's leading rusher Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, the league leader in receiving yards. And with star quarterback Troy Aikman injured, backup Steve Berline has led Dallas into the playoffs with all guns blazing. When Mike Ditka looks back to 1985, he remembers that magical year when his Bears captured the imagination of the entire country. They were brash, they were entertaining, and they were different. They were also one of the best teams this sport's ever seen. Today, Ditka's Bears are of the blue-collar variety. The refrigerator is a force on defense only. But while these may be the back-to-the-basics, no-nonsense Bears, they're still fueled by Mike Ditka's legendary fire. Field in Chicago, sold out as usual on a dark, damp, rather foggy day, but not that cold, as the Cowboys come to Chicago to play the Chicago Bears. Hi, I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden. The Dallas Cowboys perhaps come in as the hottest team in pro football. They've won 5 in a row. How do they react to the playoffs?
Well, you know, one thing, that's hot being in the regular season, and I think that once you get into the playoffs, you have to step everything up one more step, and that's a big step, and these guys don't have a lot of experience here, but I think they have to get off to a good start. We know that Steve Berline is starting at quarterback. Troy Aikman is okay, but it's going to be on Berline's shoulder. Now, I think the best friend of a quarterback, I've always said, is a good running game, and the Cowboys have that in Emmitt Smith. If they are going to move the ball on the ground, this is a guy that's going to do it. Then I think to loosen that up for them, they have to hit those underneath passes. The way to hit those underneath passes is to their tight end, Jay Novacek. And then, as Jimmy Johnson says, we got to take some shots deep, and the guy they're going to go deep to is Michael Irvin.
John, what about the Bears? They come off a very disappointing, devastating loss to the 49ers last Monday night at Candlestick. Will that have a lasting effect?
I don't know. I think we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out quickly. As Mike Ditka said the other day, he says, there's only 2 things we can do. He said we can either roll over and play dead or we can bounce back. Spending yesterday with the Bears, I think they're going to bounce back. But I know the matchup that they have to win. Their defense has to play a lot better than they did Monday night. If they are going to be successful today, their defense has to play a big, big part of it. Well, the Bears will have the first crack. As they have won the toss, the temperature is 35 degrees. The wind northwest 10 miles an hour. Cloudy and damp. And there is some question mark, I think, in everybody's mind about the condition of the field, which in between the hash marks is very, very suspect. Well, I'll tell you, it looks like grass down there, but we know that's just dirt painted green. Gentry and Lewis back deep for Willis kickoff, which is short. It's going to be Darren Lewis at about the 9. And the Dallas cover teams do a good job, as they have been for a long time. Jim Harbaugh out with the flu on Friday. Back at practice yesterday, didn't work out. We'll have this offensive line in front of him. Wojciechowski, the left tackle, Bortz, Hilgenberg, Tom Thayer, Keith Van Horn, and the tight end will be Keith Jennings. The 2 runners, Anderson and Muster, and the wide receivers, Davis and Waddle. Harbaugh has become the catalyst of the Bear offensive unit. And with those 2 runners behind him, Anderson and Muster, very comfortable. That's Anderson on the move. Cowboys showing blitz, and they come quickly after Harbaugh. Incomplete. Intended for Keith Jennings.
Ken Norton applied the heat. Tolbert, Casillas, Russell Maryland, and Jim Jeffcoat up front for Dallas. The linebackers, Del Rio in the middle, Smith and Ken Norton on the outside. In the secondary, Holt and Brown, the cornerbacks. Brown, the rookie. Ray Horton and James Washington, the safety men. 2nd and 10. Bears operating from their own 21. James Thornton in the game for Jennings now. That's Waddle in motion. Harbaugh to Anderson. Perhaps a yard. Russell Maryland led the defensive charge.
Just watch this. They know that they're going to take the runaway by putting the safety up. You see 7 in the box, and then you see the safety up there, number 24. That gives them an 8th man up. So what they're going to do is gang up with a safety or corner on that run against the Bears.
Brings up a 3rd and 8 for the Bears from their own 23. Harbaugh operating this time out of the spread formation. Juggled it momentarily, gets it outside quickly to Waddle. First down, Bears. A gain of 12.
This Tom Waddle is really some guy. Number 87, the guy who was cut 3 times by the Bears already. Throughout the season, he has developed into Harbaugh's go-to guy. You say, who's the go-to guy? Well, it's a guy when you get 3rd down and you need to complete a pass, you throw it to him, and that's Tom Waddle.
It's amazing when you talk to the guy. He says, my feet are too small, my hands are too small, my legs are not big enough. I'm slow, but I get open.
Well, the one thing that he can do is catch the ball, too. And wherever you throw it, even in practice, the guy never misses it.
And he's tough. The Harbaugh back to throw on 1st down. Davis. It's a catch. And a gain of 9. Isaac Holt, the defender.
Well, you know, one thing, you expect the Bears to be a running team and come out running. They're doing just the opposite. They've only run the ball 1 time. Every other play has been a pass. Of course, that's Isaac Holt there, who's the starting left corner for the Cowboys and probably their best defensive back, or at least their best corner. And if he can't play, that is really going to hurt this team.
Gant would take his place if he can't get back up.
Jimmy Johnson was saying last night that in the draft, he wants to get some more defensive backs. You can see what happened there. He hit the guy that was holding the marker. You see the guy lets the marker go. See the guy in the yellow hood there? He jumps over the player and runs right into the guy that was standing there with the marker.
Normally, you don't get hurt by a pedestrian.
Yeah, Wendell Davis was there and on the ground caught the ball. He jumped right over Wendell Davis, hit that guy, but he looks like he's okay because he came back in.
Well, the guy he hit looks okay, depending upon your standards, I guess. 2nd and 1. Motion. That's Muster. 1st down, Bears out to the 48. Tony Tolbert made the stop.
Yeah, Harbaugh looks pretty sharp here too early.
He does.
Mixed in, good mixture. He was in the hospital the other day, practiced Thursday, went home Thursday night, got sick, came back Friday. They just put him right in the hospital. He said he had a 106-degree temperature.
That's up there.
Yeah, then it went down to 103, and then he said it was 101. And he said yesterday, he said it finally got down to 99, and he felt real good.
1st and 10 Bears at their own 48. The opening drive of this wild card game. Cowboys jump offside. Casillas was too early.
The ball carrier. There are flags on the flag.
Dick Hantack, the referee.
Nice to see an official wear glasses. At least they admit it.
Yeah.
You knew before, man, they can't be that old and none of them wear glasses.
Defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Yeah, it's nice. And he's the guy that threw it. So you know one thing, if you're going to throw it, you better see it. If you better see it, you better have your glasses on. You know, but there were years that officials never wore glasses.
And wouldn't admit that they wore contacts even.
Yeah, and some, yeah, but even think before they had contacts. I mean, there were always a bunch of blind guys out there, and I knew it.
That's your opinion, and you're sticking to it. Huh?
I'm sticking to it. Instant replay or no.
Here's Harbaugh back to throw it. Jim Jeffcoat got the hand on it. It was intended for Neil Anderson.
Incomplete. Tipped away.
That's usually what happens when you block a guy too well. Look at all the time Harbaugh has. He has too much time. Wojciechowski was doing a heck of a job of blocking Jeffcoat. He didn't even get off the line. So then you had another defender. Harbaugh should have just sat back there and held it and tried to find something open deep. Jeffcoat made that play because he didn't get into a good pass rush.
2nd and 5. Buster and Anderson behind Harbaugh. Now he starts Anderson in motion. And back to throw. Casillas chased him out of the pocket. Harbaugh got rid of it to Muster. Maybe they got 2 yards. Jeffcoat put the heat on that time.
I think Jeffcoat got the sack. Here's Jeffcoat here. He's going to come around here. I think he got the sack before Harbaugh gets rid of it. Watch him. He's working on Wojciechowski. So he just gets a good push right there. He gets the sack. The ball was blown dead right at that point. So it's going to be spotted there and a sack for Jeffcoat.
He was on his knees when he threw it.
So the play before, Jeffcoat didn't get off the line, bats the ball down. Then the next play, he makes the pass rush and the sack.
Give credit to Casillas also for forcing Harbaugh to go forward. Harbaugh chased out of the pocket again, and down he goes. Ball is loose. He might have been down, however. No, it's Dallas ball. I'm sure they'll take another look at him. Tony Hill made the recovery.
I think Tony Hill, you watch, Harbaugh is going to get hit. You see, he's looking to his right, can't find anyone, starts to run, and he gets hit from behind, right there. You see, he gets hit, and the ball's knocked out, and then Tony Hill, number 90, right there, jumps on it.
So Dallas has it.
All fans.
Before we made a driver's minivan airbag standard in the Plymouth Voyager and the Dodge Caravan, we tested it. We did the same with our available all-wheel drive and ABS brakes. And now for 1992, Chrysler introduces the world's first built-in fold-away child seat. And for this latest achievement, we'd like to thank all the little people who made it possible.
I need that fire now.
Find the blueprint.
Where's the architect?
Sell!
Fine, short the market!
The power to put it all behind you. To kiss all the stress, all the stomach-churning headaches of business goodbye. That's the power of United. That's the power of the friendly skies.
Chug along. Pinstripe suits and high-heel shoes. The daily grind gives them all the blues. Don't work me over, I know what works good. While the best thing's always so misunderstood. Just give me what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. Just give me a Dr. Pepper, we want it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered. The taste that's made to order, we love it.
Let's watch that hit again. While we were away, they did review it, but the play is going to stand. See, the key was that when he was hit or before he was hit, the whistle never did blow. So then it was just recovered, hit by Bill Bates, recovered by Tony Hill.
So it's 1st and 10, Dallas. At their own 49. They open with 2 tight ends. Novacek is the man on the move. And the handoff is to Emmett Smith. Smith out of bounds by Wolford. Steve Berline opens at quarterback. What a job he's done. The offensive line in front of him, Tuine, Gogan, Stepnoski, Giesick, Nate Newton, and Jay Novacek. The league's leading rusher, Emmett Smith, with Darrell Johnston, the other runner. Harper and Irvin. What a great year he had as well. 2nd down and 2. 3 tight ends set up this time. Again, it's Novacek on the move. Emmett Smith. 1st down, Dallas. McMichael on the bottom of the pile. This is the Bears' basic defense. Armstrong, McMichael, William Perry, and Richard Dent, the 4 up front. Rivera, Singletary, and Morrissey, the 3 linebackers. In the secondary, Wolford and Stinson, the corners, Carrier and Gale, the safeties.
Of course, what they're playing now is a 4-4. They took their corner, Lemuel Stinson, out, and they put in a 4th linebacker, Dante Jones, number 53. They're playing with an extra linebacker as a corner.
Berline outside to Harper. A gain of 6, stopped by Wolford.
You can see what the Bears are doing. See, they only have 3 defensive backs here, and then they have 8 guys here, and that'll be 4-4, 4 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. So what they're doing is, especially when the Cowboys have tight ends in there, they're going to match up with an extra linebacker.
2nd down, they need about 5. Berline to Smith. Emmett Smith around the corner. Smith knocked out of bounds by Carrier at about the 15. A gain of 19.
Hey, this guy is something, Emmett Smith. You watch him, they don't know where he's going. This is a draw play. It's starting in the 5-hole, then it goes to the 7-hole, then it bounces out to the 9-hole. You start inside, then 1 hole out, 1 hole out. Even his offensive liner, we're talking to Nate Newton yesterday, and he said, that guy is something. He said, they call a play, and you have no idea where it's going to end up.
You just go with the flow.
He went with the flow. He went in 3 different holes.
Harper in motion. There's Emmett Smith again. Spins out to about the 12. Singletary. We were talking to Emmett Smith yesterday, and that's the way he described himself, a busy type runner, and indeed he is.
And he says he has a low center of gravity, which makes him tough to tackle. He runs straight ahead, not a north and south type of guy. Steps in and out of tackles. And the big thing is, you only get one side of your body. A good running back never gets square on a tackler and will never get hit square. He said he can only remember getting hit square once this year. He said someone else had him and got hit square in the face.
Berline back to throw it. Intended for Novacek, who was belted just about the same time the ball arrived. Vince Tobin, the defensive coordinator for Chicago, brings up a 3rd down, about 7.
That was the thing that they wanted to do, I think, is hit Jay Novacek on those underneath passes. They figure that's the stuff the linebackers have to cover. Then that will loosen them up so that they can run to Emmett Smith.
William Perry is out. James Williams replaces him. 3rd and 7. Berline on a draw play to Smith, and he's cut down and fumbled. Ball's loose. Not enough for a 1st down. Dallas still has the ball, a pickup of 3. Willis will come on to attempt a field goal.
If there's anything that has haunted the Cowboys, and they haven't had a lot of haunting lately, was it was a couple of Emmett Smith fumbles. in the middle of the season. They were saying that he was down before he fumbled. I don't know about that. Oh, no. No, he wasn't down. That ball was hit and popped right out of there. I think if the Bears recover, that's going to be reversed. There's no way that he's down anyway. Look, that ball was hit right there by Richard Dent, and it popped out the first time his hand got on it.
I think Smith got the ball back at the end.
Yeah, that's the thing.
To the offensive team, who recovered the ball. 4th down.
Emmitt Smith just happened to roll over in the right place, and the ball was there.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play by Richard Dent. Coming across, getting there, making that slap, and knocking the ball out of there.
Novacek will hold. Ken Willis will try for the field goal from 26 yards out. Willis' kick is good. 3-0 with 7:05 left to play in the first quarter. Dallas breaks on top.
The Plymouth Sundance is the cheapest American car with an airbag.
Cheap? Ha! I got power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission. Is that cheap? Is air conditioning cheap? A stereo? A rear defroster? Is an airbag cheap? I'm not cheap! I'm inexpensive, cost-efficient, parsimonious.
Plymouth Sundance, an intelligent machine.
Now get $1,000 cash back on Plymouth Sundance during our Drive for the Gold clearance.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tots, the premium choice.
You bought a what? For a dog? Well, it's your dog. It's your life. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
You can see the spirit in every smiling face. It's people that make the difference across the USA. Every time we fly, every mile of sky, everything we do, USA begins with you.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football Conference Wildcard game is sponsored by Chrysler, proud sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. Energizer brand batteries, nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going. And by AT&T, proud sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team.
Will kick off. Lewis.
Soldier Field in Chicago. The Cowboys lead it 3-0. Their scoring drive, 8 plays, 42 yards. They kept the ball 3:41. Willis then hit the field goal to put them ahead 3-0. Lewis and Gentry back deep for the Bears. Willis will kick it off. Line drive kick. Bounce to Mark Green. And Green is down at about the 27, a 13-yard return. Stopped by Mickey Pruitt.
Tackled by Mickey Pruitt.
3-0 Dallas.
It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Get your own original Indiana Jones videos at McDonald's. Just $5.99 each with the purchase of any large sandwich all day long. Step on down to your McDonald's today and get an Indy video for just $5.99 each. The best price ever with the purchase of any large sandwich any time of day. Collect all 3. Just stop by McDonald's and ask for today's video. But hurry before this offer disappears.
I made it home last night, finally, after an hour on the freeway. The light bulb blows. Okay, get up on the ladder. And while I'm up there, the phone rings. I gotta come back down the ladder. This guy's promising me big savings if I leave AT&T. No way. Big savings. So I tell him, listen, I'm not paying a lot now. With AT&T, I don't have to question. I don't have to worry about my long distance. Give me a break. They're just not AT&T.
It's the Dodge Drive for the Gold sales drive. Now own Shadow America for only $69.84, thanks to 1,000 cash back. Up to $1,500 cash back on select Dodge cars. Up to $2,000 cash back on select Dodge trucks. And package savings up to $26.83. In soon. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Back at Soldier Field, Pat Summerall with John Madden. 3-0 Dallas leading. They recovered a fumble by Harbaugh at about midfield and took it down for the field goal. 1st and 10 Bears at their own 28. Harbaugh to Anderson, hit in the backfield and knocked down after a perhaps no gain. Ken Norton made the first contact.
One thing the Bears are going to have to do here, they're going to have to loosen that Cowboy defense up, because they start with 7 up there. They have all their linebackers stacked. They don't have anyone up in the line of scrimmage. And then just before the ball snap, they're bringing 2 of their safeties up. So they start with 7 of them up in there, and then just before the ball snap, 2 more come up. So they are really trying to take away this Bear run.
Gentry split wide to the left. Gentry stay. Here comes Harbaugh. This is one thing they feared. We can't let him beat us scrambling. Vincent Smith comes up to stop Harbaugh after he picked up 6 yards.
And when we were talking to Jimmy Johnson last night, the one thing he said that he worries about more than anything in this Bear offense is this right here. You give him a lane, Harbaugh's going to take it. Then once he takes it, he is a big, strong, quick runner. And he said if there's anything that he worries about, it's Harbaugh scrambling and running with the ball, or scrambling and throwing a deep one against you.
3rd and 3. Ball's at the Bear 35. Waddle is the loop man. Harbaugh hit just as he let it go, and the ball's knocked loose. Incomplete pass. Waddle had it, but it was knocked loose.
Hey, those Cowboys hit at both ends of this one. They hit Waddle on the other end, and they hit Harbaugh on this end. Harbaugh, just as he throws it, boom, he gets it there. And at the other end of it, watch the other end, and watch what happens to Waddle. Just as he catches the ball, he gets hit.
He got hit by Holt. Tolbert is the guy who hit Harbaugh. Maury Buford in the punt. Kelvin Martin back deep for Dallas. Oh, they're after it. They blocked it. The Cowboys did. Trying to scoop it up. It's going to be a Dallas ball at about the 10.
Jimmy Johnson said he had to win 2 out of 3 phases. He said he thinks they're going to win the offensive phase and the special teams phase, and that's where it was, right there in the punt block.
Brownlow.
What they do is they overload a side. You see the overload right here on this side? 1, 2, 3. This is the side the blocks come. They overload one side, and what they do is they get 4 guys on 3 blockers, and then you're going to get 1 coming free. The one that they got coming free was Brownlow, who came straight up the middle. Much as he didn't have a chance. 3 blockers, 4 guys, 1 is going to be free.
1st and goal at the 10. Emmett Smith to about the 6, stopped by McMichael. A gain of 4.
This is why Jimmy Johnson is such a good coach. He's involved in every phase of the game. He's not just an offensive guy or a quarterback coach or a defense. He's offense, he's defense, and he's special teams. And I'll tell you, this Dallas Cowboy team is a heck of an offensive team and a heck of a special teams team.
Well, he was saying last night, Jimmy Johnson was, that they talked to the team about the three phases, the offense, the defense, and the special teams, and they put a lot of emphasis on the kicking game. Perline. He's going to take off. And he's down at about the 1 by Richard Dent and Singletary.
You know, Steve Berline is not one of the quickest or fastest quarterbacks in this league or scrambler, but he uses the one thing a quarterback can use when he's running the ball. Watch him right here. He's starting to see him. He uses the ball. He fakes that. That will always take a little pressure of that defense off you. Right there. When you give him right there, that little thing there, and then that little cutback, that'll always give you something.
He got to the 1. It's 3rd and goal at the 1.
And this is what the Cowboys needed in this playoff, to get off to a good start.
Back to him at Smith. Smith is not going to make it by Singletary. A flag on the play.
That's respect there. So what Emmitt Smith did, he got up there and he gave Mike Singletary a tap in the helmet.
Sean Gale made Smith go wide, and then Singletary made the stop. Penalties against the Bears, however.
Hey, Mike Ditka was really fired up after that Monday night loss. And that's all they could think about on Tuesday and, of course, Wednesday, Christmas.
On the defense, number 95. We will penalize half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Against Richard Dent.
Richard Dent is right up there in the end of the line of scrimmage. Right there, you can see him. He just takes his hand, and the guy blocks him. He gets his hand up in his face mask.
The Cowboys.
Well, the sideline marker says 3rd down. It should be 1st. Now they've changed it. It is 1st and goal. At the 1.
You know, one place they're not going to run over. They may run around, but they're not going to run over 72.
That would be William Perry.
The end of the run.
And you know one thing, you can't run at him, and you can't cut back into him.
And it's hard to run around him.
Right, but you can run around him. You can't run away from him.
It is 1st down. And the handoff is to Emmitt Smith. He didn't get in. And now they're saying fumble. And the Bears come out of the pack with the ball.
And the officials aren't saying anything. They're just marking the ball and waving their arms. Yeah, they haven't said which way.
The player has been ruled down by contact. 2nd down.
Not popular at Soldier Field.
This is goal line defense. The Bears play it very, very well. They're trying to get in there behind Nate Newton. Hey, it's tough to see in that pile where the ball is. But when the Cowboys run, they want to run to their right side behind Nate Newton.
It's about a foot away, and Smith again. Touchdown.
Smith carried.
Well, they got that one in there. Nate Newton is a 335-pound tackle, number 61. And as Jimmy Johnson said, if we need a short yardage, if we need a play, we're going to get in behind Newton. And he plays a right tackle. Now watch Smith. He follows his fullback Johnston in there. And at the bottom of that pile, leading that surge, is number 61, Nate Newton.
Big Nate said yesterday when he quit playing football, he was going to really get seriously heavy.
Said the highest he's ever been is 378. And I said, when? He said, every offseason.
Willis extra point is good, and the Cowboys lead 10-0. Here's the touchdown. He's in. 2:50 left in the first quarter.
I knew stress was part of the job. But my first day really put me to the test. By the evening, the stress gave me a headache that was so bad, I didn't think the pounding would stop. Thank goodness one of the doctors gave me Tylenol. Imagine, with all the pain relievers they have at the hospital, they use what I use. It made a real difference. Then I could too.
Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Prices are low at Subway, but I'd rather focus on sandwiches. People call them hoagies or heroes or submarines because they're shaped like submarines, but we call them Subway sandwiches. Our 6-inch meatball sub features meatballs and sauce on bread I just baked, all for a low economical price. I won't say how low, but you'll probably find enough in the cushions of your couch.
For 25 years, Subway has quietly made some of the best sandwiches anywhere, like the 6-inch meatball sub, only $1.69, only at Subway.
It's the Dodge Drive for the Gold sales drive. Now own Shadow America for only $69.84, thanks to 1,000 cash back. On Caravan, get cash back, and you can get air at no extra charge. Up to $2,000 cash back on select Dodge trucks, and package savings up to $26.83. In soon. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Should old acquaintance be forgot? Who cares? Just catch the offensive assault of Illinois against UCLA. New Year's Eve Day, the John Hancock Bowl. Happy, happy New Year!
Soldier Field, Chicago. The ceiling is low. And right now the Cowboys are high, 10-0. Pat Summerall with John Madden. The NFC Wildcard game. Gentry and Lewis will be back deep for the Bears. Willis will kick it off. Middle of the field is questionable at best. Aaron Lewis at the 4. To about the 29, perhaps the 30. 26-yard return by Bates and Hendricks.
Yeah, it seems like every special teams, you always see Bill Bates in there. Now they got a new guy, this guy here, number 29, Kenny Gant. And he runs down right next to Bates. And Jimmy Johnson was saying that if he has another guy who should be in the Pro Bowl, it's this guy. Watch him. He just takes on big blockers. Guys grab him, hold him. They knew who they have to get. You talk about a hold job. No one saw that was one of the worst hold jobs I've ever seen. Holy moly, how'd you get away with that?
That was James Rouse.
Yeah, call 911.
He had the big lock on him, didn't he?
That was worse than a lock. That was a long old big lock.
Harbaugh to throw it. Pass is caught by Davis. First down Bears at the 45. Larry Brown was the defender.
Yeah, I think that's what the Bears have to do is they have to be able to, especially on first down, they have to be able to loosen this Cowboy defense up. That's one thing that the Bears have a problem with is they have a tough time playing uphill. And when they get behind, like last week against the 49ers, they're down 14, then they're down 21-0. They aren't going to win that game. The Bears, to win games, have to stay pretty close because they have a tough time playing uphill.
Joe Anderson. At midfield by Jack Del Rio.
He got his hat knocked off. Look at his mouthpiece is in his hat. Oh, that's a hit when the guy's mouthpiece, chin strap, hat, everything get knocked off. Watch it. I mean, that was just a hit there. Then that thing comes flying out of there.
And then he forgot it.
Now, the good news is there was nothing in it when it came flying out.
Except a mouthpiece.
Yeah, he lost all his stuff. You lose your chin strap, you lose your mouthpiece, and your hat.
Second down and 7 at midfield. Harbaugh to Mustard. Mustard to the 40. 9-yard gain stopped by James Washington.
That's why you better not key on Anderson. They have Anderson in the backfield. They run him out. That loosens everything up. And boom, Brad Muster hits you right up the middle.
Bears are shuttling their tight ends with the play call for Harbaugh. First and 10, Davis split wide to the left, Waddle to the right. Harbaugh to throw. Waddle, the receiver.
That was a
hope.
That was everything there. That was a heck of a throw by Harbaugh, a heck of a catch by Waddle, and good defense by Ike Holt. And watch him. It's a little sprint out here to the right. He zips that thing out. Holt is right there. Holt tries to come around with that right hand and knock it down. That's about as good a coverage as you can get. Harbaugh is trying to get in another play, or get in maybe another couple of plays before this quarter ends. Of course, he's down to 10 seconds on the play clock.
2nd and 1. He'll get one more. And it's Buster at the line of scrimmage. No gain, not enough for the first down. That's the end of the first quarter with the score, Dallas 10, the Chicago Bears nothing. Ready to get underway in the second quarter with Dallas leading Chicago 10-0. It is not a first down.
Watch at the end of the play. This is the stuff that you get in playoff games, too. Jennings starts to walk away after blocking Jim Jeffcoat. Jeffcoat wants to punch him, and then at the end, a point. So that's the 3 P's of playoff football. You push, punch, and point. Then you're in the playoffs.
Did you see who was in the middle of breaking it up? Waddle.
Wow, yeah. And his socks were falling. He doesn't even have enough leg to hold his socks up.
There's the first down. Del Rio stopped Muster. First quarter statistically was won by the Bears, but the Cowboys are ahead as a result of the 2 turnovers.
Yeah, the interesting thing there, the Bears had the 1 turnover. That was the Harbaugh fumble, but then the other big play that doesn't count as a turnover was a block punt. So the Cowboys have 2 scores as a result of a fumble recovery and a blocked punt.
Wonder why a block punt doesn't count as a turnover.
I don't know. It should. You know, you would think it's a turnover, except that I guess it's a 4th down play, and you were going to get it anyway, I guess.
Harbaugh incomplete. Intended for James Thornton.
Did you see Waddle? He was wide open. He was down this right side, and there was no one around him.
No one even close.
No one covered Waddle. He ran down the right side. Watch him. He's here. I don't know what happens here, but Waddle runs straight down the field, and there's no one there. Now watch him here. He goes by him. Look at this. I mean, if Harbaugh sees that, it's 20 yards. Look at Mike Ditka saw.
He's over there.
He's saying, look at Waddle. He was wide open. He gave a little out and up, and Holt went for the out, and Waddle had the up.
Harbaugh to Anderson. No gain. Jeffcoat. Maybe he lost a yard.
I think Mike Ditka's looking for that play again that can get Waddle. Of course, I think it has to be a first down play, though, Mike. But I think where it can get Waddle on Holt, where Waddle can give him a double move. Somewhere they'll come back in this game and get that play. Everyone saw that one, and I think they're all talking about it.
Yeah.
We blow a chance for an easy 7.
Harbaugh out of the shotgun this time. 3rd and about 11. Gentry's the man in motion. He has some time. He has Waddle. The guy's amazing. Ray Horton upended him.
And I'll tell you, he gets hit every way but loose. Watch him. He's going to come in this zone, work up, then he's going to come in here to the middle. There's the throw. He has to go up for it. He knows he's going to get hit anyway. The ground cannot cause a fumble. So once he catches it, he has to come down with it in control. I guess they're saying that he had control. I don't know about that.
Well, he was slow getting back to his feet, and he didn't quite make it back to the huddle. 10-0.
The airline that spans 10 countries across Asia and the Pacific brings you United's renowned international service nonstop to London's Heathrow Airport from 6 U.S. cities. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
This holiday season, dash on down to McDonald's for your own original Indiana Jones videos. Just $5.99 each with the purchase of any large sandwich all day long. Give the kids an adventure that'll really bowl them over. Get an Indy video at your McDonald's today for just $5.99 each. The best price ever with the purchase of any large sandwich any time of day. Collect all 3. Just stop by McDonald's and ask for today's video. But hurry, because everyone is going to want one.
Hey, sports fans, get a ticket to Bud Bowl 4, and you could win $1 million cash.
$1 million bucks?
But you can't get that ticket just anywhere.
Bud Bowl tickets? Huh? Bud Bowl tickets.
Sorry.
Bud Bowl tickets?
Bud Bowl.
Bud Bowl tickets.
Pick up your ticket when you buy Budweiser, Bud Light, and Bud Dry Draft Beer. Then tune in January 26th to see if you're a winner.
Hey, guys, is this the line for... You know, it's not that important. Never mind.
Bud Bowl 4. This time it's for $1 million bucks.
This game summary is sponsored by Budweiser.
Dallas leads 10-0. Emmitt Smith, 9 carries, 1 touchdown. Waddle has 3 receptions, including that key one just a moment ago.
I'll tell you, you see him coming off the field, and he doesn't have those eyes focused.
Not quite.
Well, I mean, you know, you talk about having cobwebs. That's cobwebs, and this is how he got the cobwebs. Look, he got upended there, and 1, how he caught that ball, that was some feat, but 2, how he holds on to it. Look at, see it, it's cradled there, how he held on to that ball until that whistle blew. Those were 2 amazing plays.
1st and 10 at the 11. Harbaugh for Davis. In the end zone and down. James Washington thinks he had an interception.
Well, what happened, I think Ike Holt tips the ball to James Washington. I don't know that the ball hit the ground, but number 30, Isaac Holt, is a defender. Watch him. Now, he tips it up in the air, then Washington comes in right there. I think the ball hit the ground now. And that was a good coverage by Holt and tip to Washington. Now, did the ball hit the ground?
Incompletion. 2nd down.
Ruled incomplete. 2nd down.
From the 11.
Mike Ditka said yesterday, he says, we got to take some shots. That was one of his shots. Of course, the shot that he should have taken was that one to Waddle.
Yeah.
On the out and up.
2nd and 10.
Isaac Holt was the guy who tipped the ball. He's still pleading his case, saying that it didn't touch the ground before James Washington caught it. Replay did look at it and said it was, they're sticking with the call on the field.
The ruling on the field was that the ball had touched the ground prior to being picked up by the defense. After further review, play of stands is called on the field. Incompletion, 2nd down.
Jimmy Johnson was over there giving the signal, we caught it, we caught it. There is a guy who has done a heck of a coaching job, though.
Really?
His first year, he was 1-15. Next year, darn near made the playoffs, and they need the playoffs.
That's Mustard. He is out of bounds runs at about the 2. A gain of 9.
Isn't Mustard something the way he runs? He looks like he's running in slow motion all the time. But the other guys don't get there. You know, you think, why can't the guys catch him? He's not going that fast. And then you look up and he's already made 8 or 9 yards. And he gets up limping. You know, he's had a couple of hamstring pulls this year.
And a problem with his hip.
This one looked like he was grabbing his right knee. I know a couple of times he pulled hamstring. That's been his biggest problem. See what he did? He switched the ball to keep the ball in his outside arm, and then he was able to use his inside arm as a straight arm.
Mustard limping back to the bench.
I'll tell you, one guy that misses him is Jim Harbaugh, because Harbaugh has a heck of a lot of confidence in Mustard as a receiver, as one of those get-you-off-the-hook guys.
Darren Lewis, a rookie from Texas A&M, has taken Mustard's place. Harbaugh doesn't make it. Del Rio, no gain.
That was an ugly-looking quarterback sneak. I don't even think he got back to the line of scrimmage. Watch him. It's a delayed thing. He's going to come to his right. He's trying to find a hole there. He runs right into the backside of his own guy. No one blocks anyone. That was an ugly, ugly goal line play.
There's Mustard over on the sideline. They're going to measure.
Yeah, because, of course, the Bears can get a first down here. But that one, I mean, you got to take the ball, boom, you got to go, and you got to get your guard and tackle blocking. They didn't have any blocks or any run by the quarterback.
Looks like about the length of the ball, short. Greg Landry with Mike Ditka looking over his shoulder.
I would think that Neil Anderson, the money that he gets and as good a back as he is, and he's as healthy right now as he's been all year, I would think that I would get the ball in his hands somehow down here.
I think that would be a very wise choice. Anderson is going to be the deep back. Lewis in front of him. That would seem to be the plan. Anderson. I don't know. He might have lost a yard. Tony Tolbert was the first Cowboy there, and Dallas takes over.
Yeah, they got it in his hands, and he didn't make any yardage. Of course, they tried the quarterback sneak. And you're going to think you would like to run something straight in there so you can't lose yardage. If you knew that was going to happen, you would have kicked the field goal.
Yep. 10-0. Dallas still leads.
I remember it well. I just come out of some of the most rugged country of Utah when I turned 200,000 miles on my truck.
I was way back in the woods. It's rugged. It's at the base of Chestnut Mountain. A lot of people won't go there, but it's a special place to me.
I pulled over the side of the road, showed a sign saying 200,000 miles. Is that cool or what?
Where were you when your Toyota truck hit 100, 200, or 300,000 miles? Call us and tell us your story.
The only truck I'll ever own will be a Toyota. I'll tell you that much right now.
We asked pasta lovers in Italian neighborhoods to try microwave main meals from Chef Boyardee.
These are absolutely good. Absolutely. It's delicioso. That's right. Try a little more. The more you put them out, the better the taste.
Got tomato.
Got meat. Little onion in here. Very good.
Well, you put onion in it.
You have to put onion in it. What's the matter with you?
Very delicious. But my wife's comes first.
I'm surprised it's Chef Boyardee.
Main meals from Chef Boyardee. Simply Italian. Simply terrific.
Very close to Italian.
In retail, there are two absolute laws. The customer is always right.
Say they were anchovies, they're anchovies, all right?
And the competition is always right behind you. Reason enough to have a GTE phone system beside you. Because we can show you ways to use it to be more productive.
Yeah, hello, sales.
Yeah, sure. Even get new and repeat business. Call us, because your competition is also watching this commercial.
Should old acquaintance be forgot? Who cares? Just catch the offensive assault of Illinois against UCLA. New Year's Eve Day, the John Hancock Bowl. Happy, happy New Year!
You know, the interesting thing about this play is the motion guy brings Horton over, and look who ends up making the tackle. Number 20 right there, Ray Horton. He was over on the other side. They brought the tight end in motion. I really don't like a sweep on that play anyway, but that brought the guy over who helped make the tackle.
Emmett Smith on first down, hit by William Perry. Perhaps he got 2 yards, but that's all.
Well, this is where the defense really has to tighten up because they can get the ball back and get good field position. I think this is a big thing that, now that quarterback sneak on third down was a bad call or a bad play trying to sweep. They probably, could have gone for the field goal there. But if the defense can get the ball back here and get good field position, they can still get another shot here.
2nd and 8. Smith is the lone setback. Burline back to the inside throw. Incomplete. Intended for Michael Irvin. Who hasn't caught a ball yet.
I'll tell you, Steve McMichael really put the pressure on Steve Burline. In fact, he hits him. He darn near knocked him out of the end zone. Watch McMichael, number 76, put a lick here on Burline. By the time Burline ends up, he's about 5 yards back.
Burline 1 out of 3. Steve McMichael just keeps rolling along.
And Jimmy Johnson doesn't care about the 1 out of 3 as long as there's no turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles.
Burline in the end zone again. Going deep. Through the hands of Michael Irvin. That's a good throw. Away from the defender. Just couldn't quite get there.
It looks like he thought that he threw it enough. Irvin gives a little stop and go there. He gets the step. Speed is not one of Irvin's strengths. If he had another step of speed, he could have caught that one. He made a good move. Now, he made that stop and go move, so that got him to step beyond the defender, but he needed one more step to catch the ball.
Saxon back to punt it to Donnell Wolford, who's returning punt. Saxon's kick is a good one. Wolford is down at about the 47-yard line. The first Cowboy down was the man John Madden was talking about a minute ago, Gant. 43-yard punt by Saxon out of deep in the end zone. 10-0 Cowboys lead.
Ooh, it took a cold morning like this one for me to discover a really great hot cereal for my family. And who would have expected? It's grape nuts. I just pour grape nuts, add milk, and microwave for a minute. It's got a warm, smooth, hearty taste that's so delicious we all love it. And grape nuts is fat-free. It's the perfect way to help keep us all going on a cold winter's morning. Hot, delicious grape nuts. Try it for yourself.
Hot or cold, breakfast with Post Grape Nut cereal helps keep you going strong all morning long.
Somehow, people have gotten the idea the new Toyota Paseo is a wildly exciting, sporty coupe. The Paseo is a practical, sensible car. Okay, so it has some muscle. And a low starting price could be a big turn-on. And sure, you're going to be instantly popular. That's no reason to do something impulsive. Think it over. The all-new Paseo. A very practical car. From Toyota.
You know, Dwight, Dad has always liked me best.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I've always been his favorite. Don't argue.
That's right.
Dad, who's your favorite?
Me.
Davis Rules previews next Monday.
10 minutes, 27 seconds left to play in the first half. And Dallas leads the Bears 10-0. Block punt set up the Cowboy touchdown. They recovered a fumble and got the field goal after that. First down, Harbaugh. Fake to Anderson. Ball juggled by 2 or 3 different people. Horton, Brown, Davis had a hand on it.
Well, you know, one thing that the Bears are doing is that they're passing the ball some on first down. Watch Hilgenberg here, the center. See, he takes off. He's going to block to the left. See how he gets underneath the guy? Gets underneath and grabs and kind of holds and straightens the guy up. Got a double team. Always staying with him. Good pass protection. You see how he gets underneath? You see most guys try and block underneath. He stands up and then puts his hands underneath. It's a technique that he's the only center in football that uses.
2nd and 10, Harbaugh back to throw again. Thornton. Incomplete.
I'll tell you, this Cowboy defense is really impressive. I thought that, you know, coming into this game, and even Jimmy Johnson said that we're going to win 2 out of 3 battles. We'll win our offense against their defense. We'll win the special teams. And he didn't feel that confident about his defense, but I think the way his defense has been playing so far, he's winning 3 out of 3.
They've been out there a long time. 3rd and 10.
And that could show in the second half.
Certainly could. Here comes the fake blitz by Horton. Maybe it's not a fake. He backed out. Harbaugh hammered just as he let the pass go to Waddle. It is a catch, and it'll be a Bear first down.
Yeah, you wonder what they'd do if they didn't have Waddle. What's Jim Jeffcoat, number 77? We'll watch him in the pass rush here. You see, he starts to the outside like he's trying to make Wojciechowski go out. Then you bring your left arm across and you hit him with your left arm. Then that gives you the inside pass rush. He put a jolt on Harbaugh. You see what Jeffcoat, you try and get that tackle to go up the field. Then you bring your inside arm and whack him that way and keep him going that way. Then that allows you an inside lane.
You saw perhaps that time of possession. The Bears have had the ball over 13 minutes. More than twice as much as Dallas. Here's Harbaugh back to throw it again. Over the head of Jennings. Incomplete.
There you Harbaugh really got hit 2 plays ago by Jeffcoat. He didn't get it on that ugly quarterback sneak down here.
No.
Last time they had the ball. I think he ought to stay to throwing the ball, not running it. Of course, Neil Anderson isn't doing anything either. If they're going to be successful, they're going to have to get some running game going. And now with Brad Muster's injury, they're going to have to get it from Neil Anderson. And he's had 5 carries, and he's only made 4 yards so far.
Gentry in motion on 2nd and 10, and Harbaugh will throw it. If he has time, he just barely did. Pass is intercepted in the end zone by Brown. Intended for Wendell Davis. Brown picked it off.
Hey, and that's a defense. The defense are causing those things. They're getting fumbles. They're getting interception. They're blocking punts. These aren't things the Bears are just doing. This Dallas defense is making them do it. They're getting pass rush. They have good coverage. This is a rookie here. In fact, when we were talking to Jimmy Johnson last night, he was saying that maybe Larry Brown is his most consistent defensive back. But you need some of this, too. The rush, and you may not get there, but if he's going to throw it, hit him right as he throws it.
That was Tony Tolbert, who has been outstanding so far. Irvine will throw on first down. Irvin out of bounds by Donnell Wolford. His first catch of the day, 14-yard gain and a Dallas first down.
And we know who's watching this game with a lot of interest, the Detroit Lions. They're watching this and seeing, how does this Michael Irvin get open and catch so many passes? Well, there's one of the ways the guy does it, because Detroit knows that next week they play in Detroit against the winner of this game. There's Donnell Wolford. He's the best cover guy, the Cowboy of the Bears, and he goes wherever Irvin goes.
This is Emmett Smith. Out of bounds at the 45. About a foot shy of the first down, knocked out by Singletary.
Vince Tobin is one of the top defensive coordinators in this league, and the Cowboys are kind of keeping him off balance. You know what he likes to do is take away the thing that they do the best. Well, if you mix up and do a lot of things, then there's no single thing to take away, and that's frustrating you.
Well, they have 2 or 3 different ways to hurt you. Irvin, Novacek, Emmett Smith.
And that's what they've been doing.
Handoff is to Darrell Johnston, but a flag on the play. Trace Armstrong made the tackle.
And Berline is a master at that, of drawing the other team offside with his cadence.
Every one of the Cowboys that we talked to mentioned that yesterday.
That's the thing. That's a big difference between he and Troy Aikman. He has that staggered count, and he'll give you a soft hut and then a couple of hard huts. And he'll pick up 4 or 5 of those offsides a game.
Offsides.
As Nate Newton said the other day, or yesterday,
5-yard penalty, repeat the down, first down.
My man Steve's got that voice.
He does, and of course what he meant by that is when you get that voice and you first hear it, you're on offense, you're the guy that jumps, so you start jumping. And then when you get under control and you understand it, then the defense jumps.
1st and 5. Flea flicker coming, Berline looking, has a man. That's Michael Irvin. Down to about the 25. A gain of 25.
Now I think the Cowboys are ready to open up. They get the ball in midfield. This is where you bring out your tricks. You always wait until about the 50-yard line. So there's a flea flicker. Back to Berline. He finds a guy wide open. And if you're going to find a guy wide open, it might as well be Michael Irvin. But you see him come across here. The ball goes there. Irvin just comes, starts off like it's a run, then just runs away from Donnell Wolford. And makes him slip and picks up another 10 yards.
First down at about the 26. That's Emmett Smith. Down to about the 21. Stopped by Perry. 5-yard pickup. Funny, he doesn't look like he's gaining as many yards as he does.
Yeah, but he's always moving. You know, he never stops. And as he says, he never gives you anything to hit. He never knows where he's going. The guys don't either. He's making moves in the hole all the time. He's stepping out of things. He has great instinct and great feel.
2nd and 5 at the 21. Dallas leading 10-0. 7 minutes left to play in the first half. Berline looking for somebody. We found one of the officials.
He just threw that one away. Watch this. You want to see a pass rush? You want to see what happens on a pass rush? This is what you call an avalanche right here. You just get things going backwards. And just pile everything up. You get it going there, and you just get them all in one pile. Watch this when it goes down. Berline had no one to throw to. He just threw that one away.
3rd and 5. There's fake to blitz. Batted down. Berline was looking in the direction of Jay Novacek, and we'll see Willis.
Now watch Richard Dent, 95. He starts out here in the bottom, then he's going to go to the inside. See 95, he starts inside. He gets a double team there, just gets his hand up there and bats it down with his left hand. Richard Dent loves to do that. Start on the outside, rush from the outside, and then sometimes stunt back to the inside.
Willis has hit one today. This one will be from 38 yards out. Novacek is the holder. No good. Hit the upright. So the lead remains 10-0 with 6:44 left to play in the first half.
If you're into looking good, get into Bud Light. Clean, fresh taste won't fill you up, never let you down.
You can taste it, feel it, know you got it right. There's everything else. It's just a light. It's just a light. Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Just a light. Everything else is just a light.
When you rent from Hertz in Florida, you get more than a great car at a great rate. The real bargain is the company behind the car. Because whatever it takes to make your vacation go smoothly, Hertz is there to make it happen. From emergency road service that's as close as a phone to free unlimited mileage, wherever you roam. Next time you're in Florida, wouldn't you feel better with Hertz behind you?
Hertz, we're America's wheels.
My dad had ulcers. So when my stomach started acting up, I was afraid to go to the doctor. But the pain wouldn't go away, so I went. Was I relieved when my doctor said Mylanta? He said it was indigestion, not an ulcer. And my kind of indigestion called for a strong medicine.
Mylanta is strong medicine, strongly recommended. In fact, Mylanta is the antacid doctors recommend most.
My doctor said Mylanta.
Next Tuesday, CBS Sports presents the John Hancock Bowl live from the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. The Illinois Fighting Illini, under their new coach, take on UCLA. That's Tuesday at 2:30. And then New Year's Day at 1:30, CBS Sports presents the 56th Mobile Cotton Bowl Classic, featuring a top 10 collision between the number 5 ranked Florida State Seminoles and number 9 ranked Texas A&M. 10-0 here at Soldier Field. Dallas leading Chicago. Harbaugh back to throw it. Chased out of the pocket. Cody Tolbert put the pressure on again. Intended for Waddle. But he had no chance.
Well, I'll tell you, if you look at the first 4 possessions of the Bears and you look at the way they ended, that's what's really killing them. They had a fumble on their first possession. Their second possession, they had a blocked punt. And then they lost it on downs when they went for it on 4th down. So everything, they have some pretty good middles, but the ending is for everything has been disastrous for the Bears.
2nd and 10. Waddle again is the man in motion, and Harbaugh. Gives to Anderson, thrown for a loss by Jack Del Rio and Russell Maryland.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for Coach Mike Ditka here because he wants to run and he doesn't want to abandon the run. But every time he runs the ball, he's not even getting the ball back to the line of scrimmage. So now you have the frustration that you don't want to just go pass, pass, pass every down, but every time you run, you're not having any success with it. Now, like Neil Anderson so far has 6 carries for 1 yard. Now, that's not the Neil Anderson anyone knows.
3rd and 13. Bears back up to their own 17-yard line, and Harbaugh to throw it. Gets it out of there. It's caught by Waddle. Ray Horton knocked him down, but a gain of 15.
If the Bears don't have Waddle, they don't have anything today. I mean, he's the only offense they got. The Cowboys are using a zone here, so Waddle's just working against the zone. He's running an in pattern, finding that hole in there, but you'd think somewhere you'd start bumping on the line or get some guys against Waddle because they don't seem to have much else going today.
He's amazing. Darren Lewis.
I was saying that's what makes it fun.
Lewis was the man in motion. Here's Harbaugh. Gets it outside to Lewis. Out of bounds at about the 44 by Isaac Holt.
That guy out by Isaac Holt. A gain of 11 on the completion.
First down Bears. That's his first career reception. So that's worth another look.
Right, well, here it is. He starts in motion, and then he's just going to run it out. He started on the left side, came across in motion, ran it out. No one came with him. It was a zone. They were all playing off, and Lewis just caught the ball underneath it.
First down, Bears. The handoff to Anderson. That might be his longest gain of the day, 5 yards. James Washington made the stop with an assist from Russell Maryland.
Did you see Neil Anderson on it? He had his head down. That's the thing that Neil Anderson developed when he hurt his hamstring. He's not keeping his head up, and he's not looking to make cuts. Watch him here. He just puts his head down. You see here, he's just going to come in this hole right there. See him put his head down. He should have his head up and looking for cuts, because that's the way Neil Anderson usually plays.
Well, when you have a bad hamstring, which has been bothered by all year long, you can't make those cuts.
And that's the thing that hurts him. I mean, he can still run, but he can't make the cut.
Lewis to the 40 of Dallas. 11 yards.
Aaron Lewis is a rookie who's given some life here to this Bear team. They needed. We were saying that Mike Ditka loves to run the ball, and their runner's always been Neil Anderson. Brad Muster is hurt, so they have to get it for someone, so they're going to the rookie Darren Lewis. And he caught a pass, gave him a little life, and now he gets that big run for a first down that gives him some life.
And a first down.
The Bears do need life.
And again, that Dallas defense has been out there a long time. They show blitz again. Harbaugh gets rid of it for Waddle. Incomplete. He had to get rid of it. Brown was the Cowboy cover man.
Yeah, because Harbaugh was throwing to his left, and coming straight at him on the left was an unblocked Cowboy. I think they went overbalanced to that side, and you watch from his left side, you're going to see a guy come free. You see it right there? Again, it was Jeffcoat, and that was the side that he had to throw to, so Harbaugh saw Jim Jeffcoat coming all the way and knew that he better get rid of that thing.
2nd and 10. Bears at the Cowboy 40. Just over 3 minutes left. This is Lewis again. Lewis has another Bear first down. Gain of 11, stopped by Smith.
You know, it's funny how the running game can give you life. And I've always said the best friend of a quarterback is a running game. Look at the pressure Harbaugh's been under. He's been sacked, hurried 7 times, knocked down 6 times, had 1 batted ball, and he's had 1 intercepted. And, of course, he's also fumbled 1. So you don't want to have to do it all the time. You want to get some of this going.
First and 10, Bears just inside the Cowboy 30. Harbaugh outside to his tight end Thornton. Out of bounds at about the 18-17 make it. A gain of 13. Brown knocked him out of bounds.
Yeah, but isn't it funny how a completed pass doesn't give you life? The thing that gives an offense life is a run. And they didn't get it, and they were trying, and then finally Darren Lewis comes in, gives them a little life, and now boom, 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 the Bears are starting to get things going again.
And we'll get the 2-minute warning. With Dallas leading Chicago 10-0. 2 minutes to go in the first half of the NFC Wildcard game.
Ever feel like you've forgotten something?
Fuel?
Maybe it's because you haven't been to McDonald's yet for your own original Indiana Jones videos. Just $5.99 each with the purchase of any large sandwich all day long. Drop into McDonald's today and get an Indy video for just $5.99 each. The best price ever with the purchase of any large sandwich any time of day. Collect all 3. Just stop by McDonald's and ask for today's video.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
If you don't hurry, it could be.
Strong. To win, you've got to be smart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Amore baciami, baciami, baciami. E forte stringimi, stringimi, stringimi. Mi piace stare racchiusa in te nel tuo tepore.
Don't forget, coming up at the halftime, Greg and Terry with first half analysis, Cowboys and Bears locker room reports, and also an interview with the Atlanta coach, Jerry Glanville. His Falcons beat New Orleans yesterday to advance into the playoffs. I don't think they really worry about the playoffs too much, those guys, do you?
Well, they don't even know there's a game going on. Congratulations to the Falcons and the Chiefs.
1st and 10. Handoff is to Lewis, and again, he slashes for good yardage. That'll be another Bear first down. A gain of 11, James Washington.
Boy, if you were a coach, Pat, you stand there in your sideline, you say, boy, this guy came to play.
Where's he been?
Why did we put him in before? I mean, someday you just have it, and it's your day, and you got that extra life, and you got that extra bounce, and this guy has it today, and he's giving it to this Bear offense.
Lewis has had the ball 4 times, 1 pass reception, and every time he's touched it, he's gained 11 yards.
That's not bad. That will always get you a first down, unless you've had a penalty.
Harbaugh wants to take a timeout with 1:17 left to play.
Of course, the last time the Bears got down there, they had a foul up, remember, and they didn't get in. It looked like there was a foul up there between Harbaugh or the play or the snap count or the time or Neil Anderson. But if you're going to make a mistake, don't make it on the 6-yard line going in. You've already had a couple of them today.
Bears still have 2 timeouts left. Brad Muster. It's been a tough year for him. Hamstring problems, hip problems. Now it's a knee.
I'll tell you, the Bears will always miss Brad Muster, but this guy, Darren Lewis, was the guy who gave him the life because their offense didn't have any life. Tom Waddle was catching some passes, but like I said earlier, I think an offense gets life from running. They needed it, and this guy brought his package of life today. Jimmy Johnson is thinking that if we can get out of here with 3 points and a 10-3 lead, we'll be pretty good. Mike Ditka's thinking we have to get one in here.
1st and goal at the 6. Lewis to about the 2. Stopped by Casillas. But he got 4 yards, so that'll hurt his average of 11.
But I'll tell you, he's a powerful guy. You know, this Lewis isn't a little guy. He's like 5'10", but he weighs 230 pounds. So he was a 6th-round draft choice, as we see here. But he is a powerful guy, and he's a big man.
Speaking of big men, Madison.
Ron Mattis goes in as an extra blocker. He goes in as a tight end down here in the goal line.
2nd and goal at the 2. That's Anderson. To about the 1. Stopped by Del Rio.
Okay, I think Darren Lewis came in there, Pat, and even gave Neil Anderson some life. I think he gave Mike Ditka some life. I think he gave Greg Landry some life. I think this guy spread it around because they didn't attack it the first time they were down there. The Bears didn't attack the goal line the way they're attacking it this time. I mean, they're getting some movement. They're hitting in there. They're quicker. They're coming off the ball. They're doing all those things you have to do.
Bears have taken another timeout, so they have 1 left now.
I think the Bears on 3rd down would love to get a touchdown here. That's obvious. But the most important thing, they have to get a score. On 3rd down, if they don't get it in here, I believe this time they have to kick the field goal because you have to break that scoring plane. You got to get some points on the board, and the first ones are always the toughest.
It'll be 3rd and goal from the 1. Harbaugh in conversation with Greg Landry, who at times calls the plays, unless Mike Ditka decides he wants to call the play.
I'll guarantee you one play they're not calling. Is that
Quarterback sneak?
looking quarterback sneak they ran earlier. As you said, though, Pat, that Dallas defense has been out on the field a long time in this first half, and they could start to wear down.
Harbaugh needs it a little bit more quiet than it is. Gets his wrist and he's ready to go. Anderson didn't make it. No gain about the 1 hit by Tony Tolbert. Now what?
Now you have to kick the field goal. There's no decision here.
Here comes Butler.
Like I said, they got some points. You have to get something on the board. They got down there. They can't get it in. They were down here the first time they ran a quarterback sneak. They tried to sweep. That didn't work. Here they tried to bang it in a couple of times. They didn't make any yards. The Dallas Cowboys have whipped them on the goal line this first half, and you better take your 3. Watch them here. They don't get any movement. You see the Cowboys get penetration. They got 2, 3 extra guys there. There's no chance for the runner.
Norton and Tolbert. Norton was the man to hit first, and he is the Cowboy who's down right now.
There's that's Ken Norton Jr. Remember his dad, Ken Norton, the one-time heavyweight champion of the world. We're going to see the linebackers get in there. And again, they had 2 or 3 extra blockers. There was no place that Neil Anderson could have run that one.
There's Ken Norton Jr. You can see he makes the initial contact.
Well, you can see, look here, it looks like a pretty good hole. Then watch the convergence from the backside. Neil Anderson took a peek, tried to go back to that backside. You saw the hit that he took from Norton, or the hit that Norton took too. Watch number 51 Norton there. Watch his head snap back as he and Anderson hit helmets.
Harbaugh will hold for Kevin Butler. A 19-yard field goal attempt. And the Bears get on the board. Kevin Butler is another of the many Bears who've had injury problems all year long.
He has a hip flexor extension. He got a new word for it that he gave me yesterday, but that thing, he said, isn't going to heal until the season's over. He said it needs, a couple of months rest, and it's the only way it's going to heal. And of course, it's the flip, the hip extender on the right hip, which is his kicking leg.
He does not do the kicking off. You can see the fog sort of settling over the loop here in Chicago. Was it 2 years ago that you couldn't see the field?
Oh, remember that? Yeah, as long as it stays up there, we're fine. But if it tries to get down in here, we could have some problems. And there's a football player, Nate Newton. He admits to weighing 335 pounds. I like that. And he said when he's through playing, he said he's just going to go and get seriously fat. Said in the off season he goes up to 378 pounds every off season. He said when it's all over and he doesn't play anymore, he said then he'll just work on getting truly fat.
He said sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night, and he said the movies won't do the trick, so I eat.
It's hard. I understand that. I mean, that's...
Ball got away from Gant. Stopped by Mangum. Now, that looks like something Nate Newton might enjoy.
Listen to what it is.
I'll give it to you, but not to anybody else. I don't hand that out too often.
Oh, boy.
I'll tell you, this is in the parking lot out there. Sausage, you can't beat that, and then chili.
Potatoes, we'll put the sauce on.
I don't know about this one, though, Pat. You know what they call this?
What?
This is Eggs Benedict.
Really?
I like the chili, the sausage, and stuff like that. But you see this stuff here up in the right-hand corner? That's called hollandaise sauce. That should never be in a tailgate.
Well, you got to be aware, I think, of round sandwiches. Harper? Did they come down with the ball? I think they did.
Yeah, he did. Harper caught it.
But in any case, that's the end of the first half with the score. Now, wait a minute. Jimmy Johnson doesn't believe so. But it is the end of the first half with the score Dallas 10, the Bears 3.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football Conference Wildcard game is sponsored by Toyota and their quality line of cars and trucks. McDonald's, getting more for your money. That's McDonald's today. And by Budweiser, who, with the National Commission Against Drunk Driving, reminds you to use a designated driver this holiday season.
Jeff Lenzen, weekends on News 3 at 6 and 10.
Soldier Field, Chicago, the NFC wildcard game. Dallas 10, Chicago 3 at the half. Now for a report, let's go down to Leslie Visser.
Pat, as you know, the Cowboys have been tough on the road this year, and they're proving it again today. They have a blocked punt, they have interceptions, they have goal line stands. Offensive coordinator Norv Turner told me their only complaint offensively is they haven't had the ball enough. He said they're pleased with Steve Berline, even though he's only 4 of 8. That's because there are no negative plays, no fumbles, and no interceptions. Could be more bad news for the Bears. They have to, could be more bad news for the Bears. They've been an excellent fourth quarter team, the Cowboys. For more on the Bears, let's go over to Pat O'Brien.
All right, Leslie, thank you. No secret what's going on over here. Mike Ditka had told us before the game that they wanted to score early. That hasn't happened. Now they're in a hole and not a great catch-up team. As for this inside the 5 stuff, Greg Landry, the offensive coordinator, says if they get down there again, they plan to throw the ball. Mike Ditka says, hey, I feel fine. They haven't done anything to us. We're doing it to ourselves. Let's go back up to the booth.
Pat Summerall here with John Madden. And John, your impressions of the first half, as we pointed out or tried to point out earlier, that Dallas defense has been out on the field an awful long time.
Yeah, and they did play very well, especially as the Bears got closer to the goal line. I think the Bears got down there, and then the Dallas defense just stiffened. And as Leslie was saying, Norv Turner was saying that they haven't had the ball a lot. The Cowboys haven't, but they haven't had any bad plays. And I think that can hurt you, too, because somewhere along the line, everything has been going your way. You've been stopping them. You've been getting the turnovers, but you only have a 7-point lead.
Why do you think it is? And we were talking about this the other day. When people say the defense has been out there a long time, you don't ever worry about the offense. The offense is not supposed to get tired, I guess.
I know. I've never understood that, but I guess the offense knows where it's going, and everyone loves offense.
What do you see coming up in the second half?
I think it's going to go right down to the end of the fourth quarter.
We'll be ready for the start of the second half when we come back.
187. The Cowboys, 100.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football Conference Wildcard game is sponsored by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on. UPS offering 10:30 guaranteed overnight air delivery. And by Miller Lite, it's it, and that's that.
Ready to begin the second half. Pat Summerall with John Madden. The Cowboys leading the Bears 10-3 on what, for this time of year in Chicago, is an unseasonably warm day. Temperature about 40 degrees when the game began. Sort of damp and foggy and overcast, but the temperature and the wind have not been a factor.
Especially when you're here in December, the last day of December, and you see guys out in a boat.
Yeah.
You know that it's unseasonably warm.
Don't you, though?
Usually you see ice skaters out there.
Gardocki will kick it off. And it goes out of bounds. Not too pleased with that performance, Chris Gardocki. Halftime statistics controlled by the Bears. Look how much time they had the ball.
And that's the thing you were just talking about, that means that the Cowboy defense was out there that whole time, and the Cowboy offense really doesn't have a feel of what they have to do. The whole story of the game, I think, has been the turnovers, the blocked punt, and then that's been the offense for the Cowboys, and then the Bears not being able to score when they get down in the goal
Dallas leading 10-3. First series of the second half. Berline. Going deep. Alvin Harper makes the reception, and it's a completion. Stinson was the Bear defender, but a 38-yard gain.
That was a good decision because they knew that Michael Irvin was getting all the coverage. So what they did is they decided, well, let's go the other way. Let's work on Lemuel Stinson. We know where he's going to be because he's going to be on Alvin Harper. Now, that was one that you have to give to the coaches. You know, you say, what do they do at halftime? They go in there and they talk about what they're going to do the first time they got the ball. That was their idea. Let's go to Alvin Harper deep on the first play.
The Cowboys huddled up quickly and tried to get a play run, but they're going to review this to see if Harper did indeed stay in bounds. Replay has looked, we're told, and it stands as called.
Hey, that's a heck of a throw for Berline, too, coming out. You can see both feet were in.
Yep.
But, you know, after you go in and you're in the locker room and you're not warmed up, to be able to make that throw, the first play of the second half, is a big play.
Bear splits, Berline throws. Intended for Irvin, incomplete, covered by Donnell Wolford.
Donnell Wolford is the best cover guy of the Bears, and he is going to take Michael Irvin. Wherever Irvin goes, if Irvin goes right or left, Donnell Wolford's going on that side. You see how he got his left arm in there? That's smart, because if you get your arm in there, then the guy's momentum will take you in the direction that his pattern is going.
And if Michael Irvin gets his hands on you, he is an artist at pushing off the defensive back.
Well, he's not real fast, but he's big and strong.
Emmett Smith hitting the backfield. First by Dent, then by Perry. A loss of 3.
I always say about Richard Dent, he plays at a bunch of different levels, and you're going to see him get the penetration. He's going to come right up the middle, get the penetration right there. See right there, and then the guy that's with him is Perry. And Emmett Smith couldn't see daylight. The Bears moved Dent all around. We've seen him outside as a right end. We've seen him standing outside as a linebacker. And we've also seen him inside, like an inside linebacker on that one. Now he's down as a normal defensive end.
Here's Berline. The Bears blitz again. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Calvin Martin. After the long completion to Harper, the Bears stiffen. And here comes Willis.
Now that was David Tate, number 49, that comes on a blitz. Watch McMichael there. He's in the middle, and he's telling them what the heck they're going to do. There's Tate. He comes from deep. You see, and he just times it. Of course, when a guy comes that deep, he's not going to be counted for, so he won't be blocked.
From 47 yards out, Willis will try with Novacek holding. Nowhere near. What wind there is was in his face, but that didn't come close. And it remains 10-3.
A mistake was made. Okay, we forgot. We overlooked it.
Say you need something sent overnight. There are a few companies you can call. But say you need it Saturday morning, guaranteed. There are 2. But only one is so efficient.
Bobby, just give me a couple of minutes.
They get it there on time for far less, which is why to some, there is only one. UPS.
12. Here's 12. 40. Let's go get them up.
To an engineer, Chevy Lumina APV is corrosion-proof polyurea body panels, molded with luster cup resilience, modular seating for 7.
Can you join us? Yay!
Computer-modulated anti-lock brakes. But to them all, the Chevy Lumina APV is a lot of innovation that makes her life
You guys did great.
a lot easier. No wonder more people depend on
The
us.
heartbeat of America.
And now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
On the 3rd Sunday in August, this place turns from a hard-working ranch town into a hard-riding rodeo town. And folks like us take it on the chin, in our backs, and about everywhere else. That's why most of us here rely on Tylenol. With all the choices Doc Hall has, he gives us the same thing he takes himself.
From small-town doctors to big city hospitals, Tylenol's the pain reliever America counts on.
Hang on, Doc!
It's the one hospitals use most.
Dallas 10, the Bears 3. 13:40 left in the third quarter. Cowboys blocked the punt. Emmitt Smith scored their touchdown. Willis hit one field goal. He's missed two. That was after a turnover. Well, that's how they got the 10 points.
It's going to be interesting. Remember the life that Darren Lewis gave the Bears at the end of the first half. You wonder if it's going to carry over and he can do the same thing in the second half.
He's the lone setback. Anderson split out to the right. Harbaugh goes the other way. Wendell Davis, 9-yard gain. Larry Brown made the stop.
You know what's been interesting? The field really isn't in good shape. As you said, the middle of the field is kind of all not much there. All it is painted dirt out there. But in all, the footing has been pretty good down there. And I think that both teams were worried about that. The Bears came down and practiced on Soldier Field during the week. The Cowboys came out. It was covered last night. They couldn't even see it. But everyone was concerned about the footing, and I don't think that has come into play yet.
I haven't seen too many people slipping. Short yardage by Anderson, but enough for a first down, tripped up by Tony Tolbert.
Neil Anderson just hasn't been able to get uncorked here today, neither running or pass receiving. Again, Darren Lewis was the guy that gave the Bears a life, the rookie.
Well, you have to know that Neil Anderson, the way he's running, is not 100%.
Yeah, and especially when you look at his statistics, he's carried the ball 10 times for 9 yards and has not caught a pass. And yesterday, he felt pretty fired up, and Mike Ditka said that he thinks he's as healthy as he's been in a long time.
He's in motion this time. Harbaugh back to throw it. And does complete to Davis. Knocked out of bounds by Hope. But another Bear first down.
Yeah, the Bears and Harbaugh have really been moving the ball pretty well and throwing the ball and doing those kinds of things. It's just being able to keep it going. And then the big thing, they've done all those things, moving, running, passing, but they only have 3 points.
Once they get in that red zone inside the 20, things start to bog down.
You know, and it can be a smart aleck answer sometimes, but if you ask Mike Ditka, what do you have to do? He'll just say score, and it is a smart aleck answer sometimes, but it's also the truth.
Harbaugh to throw. It's out of the pocket and down inside the Cowboy 45, a scramble of 4 yards. Smith took him down.
You know, James Thornton hurt his ankle again, and he's coming limping off the field. And I think Thornton was the guy that he was going to. Thornton's just getting to the sideline now, and he's had trouble with that foot all year. And then against Detroit, he hurt his ankle, and it looked like he hurt it again on that play. And I think he hurt it just before Harbaugh was going to throw the ball to him.
Anytime he tries to change the direction, he aggravates it seems. Second down. That's Lewis. Tripped up by Norton, but he's close to another Bear first down. A 5-yard gain by Darren Lewis.
The guy who's been in on a lot of plays, Ken Norton. Yeah, he's coming along. Norton, Del Rio. Those guys are doing a good job as a linebacker of this Cowboy team. And then inside, Russell Maryland starting to play, the #1 draft choice. Jim Jeffcoat has played as well today as I've seen him in a while.
Tony Casillas is steady.
Yeah, they, you know, this is a battle that Jimmy Johnson thought that they may lose, but they've been playing a very scrappy defensive game.
Third and short. Harbaugh comes this way. He's coming out with it. Harbaugh gets a first down inside the Dallas 30. 10-yard gain for Harbaugh.
You know, who did a good job on that was James Thornton. We were just talking about him. We saw him go limping off, and he was back on that. It's tough because it's a bootleg, and it's a bootleg pass or run. So here's Thornton down there as a receiver. So he either has to be a receiver or he has to be a blocker. Now watch what happens as the ball comes out here. Thornton is number 80 here, and now he sneaks out here. Now if we could just stop it right here, we see the bind. Here he is as a receiver. Here's Harbaugh. Now he has to become a blocker, which he did. They got the first down.
Harbaugh going deep, and he's got Waddle. Not quite. He had to turn around and lost a step. Waddle was 10 yards behind everybody.
And that is the second time that's happened to Waddle today. In the first half, he was wide open on the right side. Harbaugh didn't see him. That time he saw him and overthrew him. But that is just out of his reach. In fact, if he runs through that, he may catch that. I mean, you can't say that that's a bad catch, but you also can't say that's a bad throw. That was a pretty darn good throw by Harbaugh.
On second down, they give to Lewis again. To about the 25. Gain of 4.
Lewis is frustrating this Cowboy defense and coaches because he doesn't give you something to hit, too. Did you see how he starts? He runs that trap, and then he turns sideways there. And then they've missed tackles on Darren Lewis, and I think part of it may be poor tackling, but I think a large part of it is Darren Lewis's running.
Bears out in a hurry as the Cowboys try to make some substitutions. There's a little confusion on their defense right now. They got nobody deep. Harbaugh's changing the play. That's going to be incomplete. Jimmy Jones came clean and forced Harbaugh to hurry.
And he knew that he had to hurry, so he knew that there was no help deep, as you said. So he was going to work on the rookie corner, Larry Brown. Brown had very good coverage. There was nothing there. Like, watch down there at the bottom. You see, that's where Brown is. He gets his hand. The receiver slips a little, and there's nothing for him at all.
You ready for a fake field goal, maybe? Harbaugh will hold for Butler. Butler's good. It didn't look too pretty, but it's 10-6. 8:25 left to play in the third quarter. Kevin Butler, who just kicked that field goal, side around side.
Well, it came out of there like a knuckleball.
Yeah.
You can see the way he got so excited there. I don't think he thought he had that much distance in him.
I don't think he did either. Gardocki will do the kicking off. Alexander Wright and Gant are deep. Wright. Now he's got some speed. But he also needs some room. Sorich led the special teams down.
There's old Glenn Kozlowski there. He came out with a ball somehow. I think anytime you're going to see a pile on a special team, you're going to find old Kozlowski down there under it. And anytime you're going to see a guy scrapping for the ball, there's going to be a Kozlowski there. They're taking Tom Waddle off the field. They've been spending a lot of time looking or working on him. They've been giving him smelling salts most of the day, and now they're taking him off the field.
Get him a new battery, maybe. Singletary stopped Emmitt Smith.
Now, whatever it is, his legs aren't hurt because they got him running off the field. You don't find that much. That combination of a guy going off the field during the game running. Whatever it is, they're not going to start working on him until they get him in the house.
They call that area Bear Alley. At least the Bear locker room.
And this crowd is starting to come alive too, Pat. There's a different intensity in this crowd level.
Look at Richard Dent. Here's Berline. To Urban. Midfield.
You know, you talk about the guy, you know if you're going to run, they're going to run it to Emmitt Smith. You know if they're going to throw short, probably Jay Novacek. But if you're going to go up the field, you're going to throw it to this guy. And that's his #1 pattern, that deep in pattern. He just comes up, he takes in, and he's so big that he can get his body between the quarterback and the defender.
Irvin comes to the left this time. Wolford comes with him. Harper split wide to the right. Johnston in motion. Emmitt Smith. Through the pile about the 44, a gain of 7. Waddle, we just saw hit it from the dressing room a minute ago, has a bruised sternum. So they've taken him in for x-rays. That's Singletary and William Perry both still down.
I don't know that Perry was down. I think Singletary was down, and he was down on Perry.
Glad it wasn't the other way around.
It's wintertime at your Chevy Geo dealer. A great time to get big deals on Chevrolets.
$1,000 cash back.
Hey, that's worth more than my baseball card. During wintertime, you can get cash back or low wintertime financing with no payments for 90 days on Chevy. With deals like these, anybody can be a winner.
Dad, it's Bob Uecker.
Hey, kid, you want an autograph?
No, thanks.
Are you kidding? Sure you can have two. Great kid. See your Chevy Geo dealer today.
It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Get your own original Indiana Jones videos at McDonald's. Just $5.99 each with the purchase of any large sandwich all day long. Step on down to your McDonald's today and get an Indy video for just $5.99 each. The best price ever with the purchase of any large sandwich any time of day. Collect all 3. Just stop by McDonald's and ask for today's video. But hurry before this offer disappears.
To me, there's nothing better than winning a Super Bowl or a NASCAR race. That's why Interstate's my kind of battery. Get an Interstate battery from automotive service, repair, and parts centers everywhere and win with Interstate.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tots, the premium choice.
Should old acquaintance be forgot? Who cares? Just catch the offensive assault of Illinois against UCLA. New Year's Eve Day, the John Hancock Bowl. Happy, happy New Year.
Mike Singletary got up. He was the injured Bear on the previous play. Got up in obvious pain, but Dante Jones has replaced him. That's Emmitt Smith. And Jones made the stop.
Now, the other guy that was there was a fridge. You know, one thing about him, I mean, you know, his size has gotten away from him a little bit, but you forget to say that the guy is still a good football player, and that he can play the run very well. And he just controlled that side and goes right down the line. You're not going to run at him, and it's tough if you run to the right. It's tough to cut back there. I mean, he kind of polices that middle pretty well.
1st and 10 Cowboys. Berline will throw it on 1st down. Gets it to Harper to the Bear 25. 15-yard pickup and a flag on the play.
It's going to be back there in the area of offensive holding against the Cowboys.
That's what it is.
And you see the flag back there, and you're going to make a guess. That's a guess you make.
Holding. Offense. Number 53. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 1st down.
Waddle is back. Stepnoski.
Yeah, he's the center. You watch number 53 there. He's blocking on McMichael. He gets his left hand up and then pushes with his right. I think the left hand, they could have called that. And then if they didn't, they probably called when the right hand pushed him down.
There's Brad Muster back out of uniform in civilian clothes now.
And you can tell just the way he was moving gingerly that right knee is really bothering.
First down, Cowboys midfield. Berline gives to Emmett Smith. Smith gets back to about the 38-yard line, a gain of 11. He is amazing.
I'll tell you, good blocking, but does he finish it off at the end? Watch the blocking in the middle. That allows the first hole. Then he's going to cut back there and watch him hit Mark Carrier at the end. Carrier go boom and right on his back. That's what you talk about when you say, how do you finish off a run? This is how you finish off a run. Where the defensive guy goes backward.
Well, it's as he said, he never gives you that much to hit.
And then you think he's not going to give you much, and boom, he gives you a big shoulder.
Second down. They need about 9. Berline back to throw. Incomplete. Intended for Irvin over his head.
Michael Irvin catches more passes than anyone. He's in the Pro Bowl this year. One of the best receivers in the game. He's going to be for a long time. Donnell Wolford really has his work cut out because he is playing them all over the field today.
Well, you know, when we were talking to the coaches yesterday, Norvell Turner was saying one of the reasons he's so effective is because he doesn't mind coming across the middle.
Yeah, and they'll always be effective. The guys that'll go inside will always be the most effective receiver. That's what Jerry Rice will do, too.
They're showing blitz, and here they come. Berline out to Michael Irvin. Got away from 2, got away from a third, and went out of bounds. A Dallas first down at about the 11. Carrier finally took him down.
And you know the thing about Michael Irvin, I think he enjoys being a star. I think he loves this game. He loves the lifestyle. He has fun playing the game. Watch what he did to Wolford. He told him he was going deep, then he pushed him up, then he ran the out, then he caught the ball. He knew that's not the end of it. He starts making some more moves. Watch it. You can just catch the ball, but after you do that, you're still a football player. Boom, 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 boom. That's the old street move there. And then you cut back, you wait for a block, pick up another 5-6 yards.
And then you protect the ball.
And get out of bounds.
First down, Dallas. Berline. Deep for Harper, incomplete, no flags. Stinson was with him.
You know, the Cowboys won 5 in a row, and that was that big run, and this guy here has been a big part of their offense. If you look at the percentage of total yards in the last 5 games, Michael Irvin has been 41% of it.
That's incredible. If you put him, Irvin, and Emmett Smith together, that would almost be 100%.
So far in this game, he's been 32%.
On second down, pass incomplete, intended for Novacek. A flag on the play.
I'll tell you, Berline saw that all the way. Look at the first guy down there is Berline. He ran down there. He threw the ball, then he started calling it. He threw it, and then he followed. He started running down there pointing, but there was a penalty on the play.
David Tate was the defender.
Well, if you would let him, quarterbacks could be pretty good officials as far as pass interference because they see the whole thing.
Defense, number 49, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Number 49 is David Tate. And you see that he came in there after. It looked like to me that it was after the guy threw the ball.
Gives the Cowboys a first down. Let's look at it again.
That's 49 right there. I think the ball was already there. I think Berline may have talked him into one there. You got to let defenders play.
Smith to about the 9, stopped by Perry and James Williams. Second down. Mike Ditka's play list.
Well, he has his game plan there. You take the game plan and then you shorten it down to the list of plays that you want to run. Of course, the Cowboys have had the ball for a long time, so Ditka hasn't been able to use that play list.
2nd and 7. That's Smith. To about the 3. Stopped by Dent. That's close to a first down. 6 yards for Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, the Cowboys only have 5 running plays, and Emmitt Smith just makes about 20 out of them. You see that play, and most of them have been that way. He starts to the right, and then immediately he cuts it back to the left. Now watch this. This is probably called the even number holes in the right. This is probably called to the 4 hole. The minute he gets the ball, he sees a hole back the other way, and he starts to take it. He says when he gets the ball, he can see from one side of the defense to the other side.
He got to the 4, so that makes it 3rd and 2. Smith the lone setback. They give it to Emmitt Smith, and he'll have a first down. Maybe a touchdown. No signal yet.
First down. He looked like he pushed that pile all the way into the end zone. You know, again, some of these guys, some of these times you think these guys are little guys, but their legs are so powerful, they really have a push at the end of the run. Watch him here. Watch him push and drag and make everything go backward. And the guy that he was pushing backwards was William Perry.
That's a task.
That's a push. Look at him. He's making that defensive pile go backward.
Laid it on the ground. Berline missed the handoff to Smith. That was almost disaster. A loss of 6 yards.
Yeah, that is what makes coaches wonder what they're doing in this business. You're so close now. Now you not only lost all that yardage, but now you go from a running down to a passing down.
It just slipped out of Berline's hand.
Yeah, it did. I mean, there was none. The ball just came out.
2nd and goal from the 7. Harper's the man in motion. It's to Emmitt Smith. Stopped by Morrissey. 4 yards for Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, that was a tough thing about that loss is they have to throw somewhere. They came back to Emmitt Smith, but if they're going to score a touchdown, I don't think they can run on this 3rd down. I think they have to pass and kick a field goal, or pass and make a touchdown, of course.
3rd and goal at the 3.
The other thing you can do, if you're going to run on 3rd down, then you have to determine right now that you're also going to run on 4th down if you don't make it.
2 tight ends to the left. Novacek, touchdown.
So it worked out for the Cowboys. They lost the ball. They lost the yard. It forced them into a passing down. So Berline throws a touchdown to Novacek.
You know what else that drive did? It gave their defense a chance to rest.
And the other thing it did, it took the crowd out of this game. Because the crowd was just starting to get into the game. I'll tell you, that drive silenced this crowd.
Willis will try the extra point. 23 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. Extra point is good at 17-6. Touchdown pass. Berline to Novacek.
Hey, Berline backs out. That means he's going to throw to the left. He's watching Jay Novacek all the way.
17-6. The Cowboys lead the Bears. 23 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. The man who just scored the touchdown, Jay Novacek. Darren Lewis and Dennis Gentry back deep for the Bears. Willis kickoff. Headed for Lewis. He fields it at the 15. Down at the 20. Smagala and Brownlow.
You know, I think the key thing, we saw that drive, obviously the key thing is a touchdown, but the other thing was it took 8 minutes off the clock and then got you a 17-6 lead. This is Magala, one of the guys who's been the star. We talked about Gant being one of the guys. Magala's another one of the guys. Bill Bates for years. These type of guys that have made the special teams another way for the Cowboys to win football games. They just don't get one guy down there around the ball. They get about 4 or 5 on those kicks.
Lewis and Anderson, the running back for Jim Harbaugh. Keith Jennings, the tight end in motion. Harbaugh. The Dallas pressure. Del Rio was the first man there, along with Jimmy Jones.
You know what the Cowboys are doing, Pat, is they're running what they call run blitzes on first down. And then when the Bears are going into first down, what they're doing is they're just running into the pass. Now here's Del Rio. He's going to come in here, run blitz to stop it, and then it's a pass, so he just keeps going. And he's right there. You see, this is a run blitz. Boom, he goes to hit that hole, and then it's a pass, and he's right there for the pass rush.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score Dallas 17, the Bears 6. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
TV 300 Club Thursday on News 3 at 10.
Back at Soldier Field, Chicago, the Cowboys leading 17-6 at the end of 3 quarters. And you're right, John. The crowd has really quieted down since that last drive.
Well, you know, the Cowboys did a heck of a lot with that drive. Only put them ahead. Could be the drive that takes them another step in the playoffs, and among all the other things. Rested the defense.
2nd and 15. Harbaugh. Davis makes the catch and scrambles for a first down. An 18-yard gain.
Yeah, if you look at the statistics after 3 quarters, you know, we know about all the ones, but look at this one here. This inside the opponent's 5-yard line. The Bears have been there twice, no points. The Cowboys, of course, have been there twice and 2 scores. So I think, you know, that's the big thing. I mean, you can have this and that, but you have to score, and you have to score when you get down there.
Here's the handoff to Lewis. He gets 7 yards, perhaps. Smith tripped him up.
I think this whole Cowboy defense is probably the underrated area of this football team. In fact, Tony Casillas was telling us last night, if we win this game, we're going to have T-shirts made up that's going to say the no-name defense. But look at the cleats there, the different. That's Zorich here, and he's wearing a steel tip cleat. They have about 5 different types of cleats that players can wear in different field conditions, and they choose them after the pregame warm-up.
Here's Harbaugh rolling. Chase and throws it away. Tony Tolbert.
You know, if you look at this,
excuse me, Jim.
You see, you can use a 3/4-inch mud cleat. Now, that's usually linemen use that one. And or you could use a 5/8 inch. That's a mud. That's probably what most players are wearing today. Then you got the 1/2 inch. That's for a hard surface. Then as we come down on the right side, the 5/8 steel tip. That's just what we saw. And the steel tips, and the 3/4 steel tip, those 2 are usually for frozen surfaces. Now, those are steel tips right there, and it's not frozen, but that's old Zorich. You know, you never know what those guys are. He wears steel tips at his time.
Harbaugh on 3rd down. Pass caught by Davis again. 8-yard gain, enough for a first down.
Yeah, this hasn't been the Bears' problem today. The Bears' problem hasn't been Harbaugh in the passing game. You always think of the Bears, you'd think of defense. The defense let them down a little, especially last Monday night, but on that last drive. You think a running game?
Think of the running game.
They don't have that. Neil Anderson hasn't gained anything. You think of him not passing much, but today the passing is the only thing that's kept him alive.
That and that brief spark by Lewis, who replaced Muster at fullback. Harbaugh to throw it. Under pressure, incomplete. Russell Maryland might have deflected it.
Watch Russell Maryland. He's here in the left-handed stance. He's right here, and we'll watch him. I think he did deflect it. He gets a push. He's working there. Then he comes off. He gets between Hilgenberg. Then he just gets in there and gets his hands up. And it was either deflected or the ball went right between his hands.
He got a piece of it.
Yeah, well, he made it wobble. Changed it from a spiral to a wobble.
Here's a guy who's really come on, too.
Now remember, he's from Chicago, so he's coming here, and this is his hometown where he played high school football. Didn't want to be a football player.
Screen pass is called to Anderson. Ken Norton. Outstanding defensive play.
You know, the Cowboys are doing all the right things. They're not a dominating defense. I mean, there's no player there that you have to double team or triple team, but they're just mixing them up. They're blitzing enough. They're throwing you off balance. They have good coverage. They go from man to zone. They have someone there in all places today.
Norton took on two blockers, beat them both, and made the play.
Then you know that's the way a linebacker gets a drink. Did you see that? You can't put it in the front. You got to put it in from the side somehow.
Three-man rush
through your ear.
Caught by Anderson. A gain of 9. That'll bring up a 4th down. The Bears will have to punt. Buford. His only other punt was blocked.
Right, and the fans that were all excited a little earlier are now booing this. Completing the pass and not getting the first down.
Kelvin Martin back deep for Dallas. Pass coming, and it's caught for a first down. Rivera from Buford.
Rivera was the fullback. He just came straight up the middle. You have a fullback who's a personal protector for the kicker. That was Rivera. Mike Ditka knew he had to do something. Watch Rivera. He's right up here. He's the front guy there. He just runs straight down the middle, right towards the umpire. He throws it to him, and he catches it enough for the first down.
Just over 10 minutes left to play. Dallas 17, the Bears 6. First down, Chicago at the Dallas 37. Harbaugh gives to Anderson. I beg your pardon, it's Lewis. A gain of 7, stopped by Ray Horton.
You know, and that's why Mike Ditka's Mike Ditka. I always say that, you know, he's a good coach. He knows how to play the game. He could see what was happening here. He could see that he had a little momentum. He had lost it, and he had to do something. The fans were starting to boo. He had to do something to change it, something to turn it around, and that something was a fake punt.
Second down. And 3. Again, Bear first down. Stopped by Norton, but he gained 5.
Did you see Noonan there? I think he just stepped on his face. I think Lewis was down, and I think Noonan come and put a brogan in his face. That's just when he stands up. I think he gives him a brogan in the face. Yeah, right in the head. Put the hoof to the head. The hoof to the head. You can't do that. I don't know how the fans saw it because they started to boo. Kick him in the head, Ted. You can't do that.
Not nice. Harbaugh to throw. Wheels it outside to Neil Anderson. 4-yard pickup.
Hey, sometimes a move like that, you know, if players see it and it's at their home, that can fire them up a little too, because you talk about fire and emotion and stuff, and the time you need it is now. It's at the end of the game. It's, you know, it's the urgency of it. And I think that's what makes things get tough out there. I mean, you just watch the way guys are getting belted around and going after things. These guys are starting to throw live bullets in here.
2nd and 6. Lewis in motion. Cowboys showing blitz, and here they come. Harbaugh's pass is incomplete. Russell, Maryland again put the pressure on Harbaugh.
And one thing the Bears know, that they have to think in terms of 2 touchdowns. See, and the Cowboys are still relentless. They've been coming. They're not a big blitzing team, but they have been today. That's been a big change. They're really going after Harbaugh. You know, you think your whole season can be over. One team's going to go on. And that's the urgency that both these teams have to play with right now.
The winner here plays Detroit next week. 3rd and 6. Harbaugh has some time this time, and the pass is complete. To Wendell Davis again. Robert Williams made the stop, but it's enough for a first down for the Bears.
Hey, and these fans know it too. They know that, you know, is this the end of the season, or is there going to be another week? And I think a lot of it's going to be determined here. Can they get the ball in the end zone? And of course, if they do that, we know they still have to get another one.
Davis has 7 catches for 80 yards. 1st and 10. 7.5 minutes left to play.
And this is where they've had their trouble.
Harbaugh chased backwards, dumps it off to Lewis. Lewis inside the 5, inside the 10, almost the 5. Jimmy Jones finally made the tackle.
And Harbaugh has to be thankful for that new rule. A year ago, that would have been in the grass. Watch Jeffcoat, number 77. He's double-teamed there. He has Harbaugh right there. The whistle would have blown a year ago. The whistle didn't blow. No in the grass rule. That let him get rid of the ball and keep the play alive.
6:58 left to play. The Cowboys leading 17-6.
When the night
While others just talk about quality, we're willing to take a stand. We'll take care of virtually everything your car needs for 2 years free. Now that's over and above the 3-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. So about all you pay for is gas. Introducing Value Care Ownership, standard on every car we make at Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai. Right now, your Hyundai dealer is standing by with some outstanding buys. So stop by.
The race is on to make batteries that last longer. And today's Duracell batteries can even outrun the ones we made just a few years ago. Today's Duracell, you can't top the copper top.
This game summary is sponsored by Coors Light.
Emmitt Smith, 21 rushes, 95 yards, the 1 touchdown. The turnovers have aided the Cowboys considerably. The block punt to go with that. Those two miscues by Chicago led to 10 points for Dallas. They lead 17-6. 2nd and 4. Harbaugh to throw it. That's out of bounds. Davis.
That one official didn't know what to do. He was just waving like this. Then the other one said out. Then he said out too. When you get down here, I always say the intensity goes up another level. And I think you start to see more helmets fly off more heads in playoffs than you do in regular season.
Hey, Mike Singletary.
I'll tell you, he knows that they're going to get another chance. If they score, his defense has to get in there and stop them and get the ball back. So you do a couple push-ups.
3rd and 4. Cowboys again show blitz. Here they come. Incomplete. James Washington, the safety man.
Well, the Bears have to go for it here on 4th down. A field goal won't do them any good. But just, it seems like all day the Cowboys have had a free guy. There's Washington. He's a free guy. He hits Harbaugh just as he's going to throw it. But they've outnumbered him. They'll overload his side. They'll bring a blitz. You see Bates coming up the middle. Washington coming from the outside. Good coverage by Horton. This has been an excellent defensive game plan by the Cowboys.
4th and 4. This could be it. This season, the game, everything. Harbaugh trying to run is hammered to the ground by Ray Horton. And the Cowboys will take over.
I think the Cowboys can print up those T-shirts, no-name defense, and wear them with a heck of a lot of pride.
6:29 left. Cowboys ahead by 11.
When the night
While others just talk about quality, we're willing to take a stand. We'll take care of virtually everything your car needs for 2 years free. Now that's over and above the 3-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. So about all you pay for is gas. Introducing Value Care Ownership, standard on every car we make at Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai. Right now, your Hyundai dealer is standing by with some outstanding buys. So stop by.
You just arrived. You don't know your way around town. And then you see welcome signs of civilization and sophistication. You're gonna like it here. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Hello? This is Thelma downstairs. What was that?
Diet Dr. Pepper. It tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper.
Can I try one?
I'll send George right down.
Q had a life.
I got a DJ Saturday night. I'm not trying to miss that for nobody.
Bishop had a plan.
What, is you scared?
Q got a break.
Gee, Q!
Bishop got a gun.
You didn't have to shoot him.
Now it's a matter of who's got the juice.
I think Bishop lost it. No, killed him. I'm the one y'all need to be worried about.
Juice. Rated R. Starts Friday, January 17th at theaters everywhere.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football Conference Wildcard game is sponsored by Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai, makers of the Excel, Scoop, Sonata, and the brand new Elantra. Today's Duracell, the copper top battery. And by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
Soldier Field, Chicago.
Watch on that last play how Ray Horton right there, how he closed on Harbaugh. That is a big play. Looked like he shot out of a gun.
Emmitt Smith to about the 15. Singletary and Carrier. 8 yards for Smith.
Yeah, that defense has reason to be proud, and this is a big part of the story today. The Bears were inside the 10-yard line 3 times, and they got no touchdowns. And I think, you know, that's part of the Bears, but a big part of it was an underrated Dallas Cowboy defense.
Over 100 yards again for Emmitt Smith. 22 carries for 103. Just sort of sneaks up on you.
Yeah, that kind of runner, because when they run the ball, there's only one guy who really carries, and that's Emmitt Smith.
There he is again. Close to a first down, stopped by McMichael and Singletary, who's back.
Well, you know, Jimmy Johnson said last night we have to win 2 out of the 3, either offense, defense, special teams. And as we said earlier, I think they've won all 3 today.
They lead it 17-6. Bear timeout.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. In a 1990 NFC Wildcard playoff game, the Redskins defense faced the #1 rated offense in the conference. Performing brilliantly in the clutch, Washington defenders sacked elusive Randall Cunningham 4 times and completely shut down the Eagles' explosive offense. By holding the NFC's highest scoring team without a touchdown, the Redskins defense led Washington to victory and made the Redskins the best they can be.
While others just talk about quality, we're willing to take a stand. We'll take care of virtually everything your car needs for 2 years free. Now that's over and above the 3-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. So about all you pay for is gas. Introducing Value Care Ownership, standard on every car we make at Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai. Right now, your Hyundai dealer is standing by with some outstanding buys. So stop by.
Yeah, we look up at the Cowboy coaching staff, and we see here is Dave Wanstead, the defensive coordinator, who takes a lot of responsibility for the job they did today. And here's Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator. And I think that sometimes the assistant coaches don't get all the credit that they deserve, but I think what Wanstead did with that defense and Norv did with that offense, I think is amazing. And I think Jimmy Johnson, we all know, has done a great job of building this Cowboy team.
And they have a lot of draft choices to go this year.
Now they have 15 draft choices.
Emmitt Smith. I don't think he got the first down. Stopped by Sean Gale. A loss perhaps of a yard.
If you look at this statistic here, that they're the first team since the 1958 Packers to go from 1 win to the playoffs within 3 seasons. Remember, it was just 3 years ago that they were 1-15, Jimmy Johnson's first year. Jerry Jones, the owner, come into Dallas. They fired Tom Landry. A lot of criticism and talk, and they have really built something, and they're just in the process, because we look here, they have 2 first-round picks, 2 second, 2 third coming up. So they have quality now, and they are going to get more quality. I think most of that more quality will be in the defensive secondary.
Mike Saxon, who's only had to punt 1 time today. Wolford back deep for the Bears. Saxon standing right at the goal line. At midfield. Again, the special teams did a good job. (17-6). Dallas leading the Chicago Bears with 5:12 left. The Bears down to 1 timeout. Don't forget, Tuesday at 2:30 Eastern Time, UCLA and the Fighting Illini of Illinois in the John Hancock Bowl in El Paso, Texas. Tuesday, and then on Thursday, New Year's Day, Wednesday, New Year's Day at 1:30 Eastern Time, Florida State against Texas A&M in the Mobile Cotton Bowl Classic. Both here on CBS. flag on the play as Harbaugh is back in the spread formation.
That's what happens to a special teams guy. That's Glenn Kozlowski working on his chin after that punt return. Yeah, you think that the Bears scored the last time they had the ball, they'd be in great shape now. Because they have the ball at midfield, plenty of time. But now they still need two. We're talking about the owner of the Cowboys, Jerry Jones. That's him right there. A guy come in and took over the team and bought the team, then took it over. One says, I wonder if he knows what he's doing. And some laughed and thought he didn't. He kind of proved that he did know what he was doing.
I was talking with him before the game, and he was looking around at this arena saying, you know, in all the years that I've been playing football, because he played at Arkansas, never been to Soldier Field before until today. Pass almost intercepted. Tony Hill did the juggling.
Yeah, he's made some big plays today, Tony Hill. It's interesting, we were talking last night to Tony Casillas, and it has to be confusing. The Dallas Cowboys have 3 defensive linemen named Tony. That's Tony Hill, Tony Casillas, Tony Tolbert. So when you go in a meeting and the coach says, hey, Tony, you know, everyone look right. Yeah, me.
Not me.
Well, it'd be confusing. Like you got them side by side. You say, Tony, stay outside. They both stay outside. They just did it.
Ball flow on this way.
Pass is caught by Waddle. That should get enough for a Bear first down. Stopped by Manny Hendricks. Not quite. Might be about a foot short.
The Fridge is thinking right there that we had to stop him on that drive, and we didn't stop him. We gave him life, and that could have been the season.
4:40 left to play. Anderson hit at the line of scrimmage. Struggled for a couple of yards. Got a first down. Jim Jeffcoat made the initial contact, but the Bears do get their first down. 4:20 left to play.
You see the guy's playing middle linebacker now, number 40, Bill Bates.
Yeah.
We've seen him for years throwing his body into piles.
Harbaugh's pass is caught again by Waddle. 9 yards for Waddle.
I think Waddle's had a super day today in a big game. You know, we're always looking for guys, Pat, for the All-Madden team, and I don't know that there's anyone. I mean, he ought to be the captain of it or something. I mean, that just kind of represents.
He should.
To me, what football's all about, and what achievement's all about, and what trying's all about, and what all those things are all about.
He's caught 7 passes for 89 yards. Here's the handoff to Anderson. Anderson out of bounds. Stop the clock. Out of bounds at about the 14. But a 15-yard run by Neil Anderson.
Again, the Bears are down by 11, so they're still thinking in terms of 2 touchdowns, 4 minutes to go, only 1 timeout. So what they need is a touchdown, an onside kick, get the ball, and then, of course, another touchdown.
It's not much if you say it real fast, I guess.
Well, you know, it sounds like a lot, but had they scored the last time, it sounded like a lot then, too, but it wouldn't have been much because here they are right back again.
First down at the Cowboy 15. Harbaugh slides at about the 12. Bates up to put the hit on. The clock continues to run. Bears in a hurry up. 2nd and 8.
They got their 4 wide receivers in. Neil Anderson, the only guy in the backfield. Shotgun.
Waddle at about the 4. Holt made the tackle. About a 9-yard gain. And it should be 1st and goal. Waddle's still down.
I think if the Bears don't win this game, I think Waddle's going to go to bed and take a nap for a week. Then you'll see his hit. Both knees are down when the ball comes out. Maybe he's staying down for the review.
It looks like he may be taking a nap now.
Yeah, well, you know, they've used more of that smelling salts on him today. It's a league record. Every time we've seen a shot, they've had that smelling salts they've been giving him. He's been trying to clear the cobwebs out. I mean, there's a lot of different tough guys. There's linebacker tough, and there's lineman tough, and there's big guy tough, and there's wide receiver tough, and this is it.
He doesn't look like he should play this game. He's been to the locker room to be x-rayed.
Yeah, he's been walked all day. They walked him on the field, off the field. They walked him to the locker room.
Harbaugh down at about the 6 by Leon Lett and Russell, Maryland again. A loss of 3.
Yeah, he's getting a big push, but let's see if there's anyone open. You know, a lot of time, look at the protection, and you look at him, see, he's trying to throw out here to the left, and they're double covered there. If he threw to the left, that ball would have been intercepted. So that was good coverage.
Waddle is back in the game, split wide right. And he gets the touchdown. From Harbaugh.
That guy's a football player with a headache.
Catches, 104 yards for Waddle, and the only Bear touchdown. Butler for the extra point. Which is good. 17-13 with 2:42 left to play and one timeout.
Yeah, that's the key, I think, Pat, is a one timeout. If the Bears had all 3 timeouts and a good deep kicker, I think they could kick deep. But with only 1 timeout, I think they probably have to go for an onside kick. Let's watch a touchdown. Shotgun, overload, 3 wide receivers out to the right. Waddle's the second guy. He comes in. They cover the first guy going across. The other guy goes out. Waddle has the inside all to himself. What a warrior he has been today.
Today's game was produced by Robert D. Stinner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin, and the executive producer is Ted Shaker. They are still adding to the record.
I think after the Immaculate Reception, I think it was 10 for Madden. Madden never played like Waddle did, I'll tell you that. This is a big play here, this onside kick. And you know that there's going to be an onside kick. The Cowboys are in what we call an onside kick prevent, or their hands team. So the Bears are going to get some kind of overload and then kick to an overload. They'll probably line up like this and then shift. There goes the shift.
Don't forget Gardaki's left-footed, so that's why they're going that way. And he kicks away. Kicks it out of bounds.
I don't know what that was.
I don't either.
I mean, it wasn't a deep kick, and it wasn't a short kick. And his special teams coach, Steve Kaiser, is going crazy at Gardaki. Look at him.
Placed at the 35-yard line.
He has an explanation to do there. Matt Ditka's on Steve. Oh, boy. That's a definition of mass confusion.
They're both after Gardaki.
Well, was it supposed to be an onside kick or a normal kick? It was kind of a tweener.
2:38 left to play.
Defense has to think a turnover here.
The Bears have only one timeout remaining. It's Emmitt Smith. Smith knocked down by Singletary after a 3-yard gain.
Well, see, the Bears have one timeout that they take right now, but remember, they're going to get another one at the 2-minute warning. So they have 2. Then if they can stop them, they'll get a third with a change of possession, which is an automatic timeout.
There's Waddle still trying to collect things. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Chicago Bears, and the National Football League is prohibited.
Hey, what those Cowboys are thinking now, first thing, no turnovers. Second thing, let's get a first down. The Bears are thinking, 1, let's get the ball out of there. Let's force a turnover. And 2, let's stop them so we can get the ball back.
2nd and 6. The ball at about the 37. Berline's going to throw it. It does. To his fullback, Darrell Johnston, and he's out of bounds very near to a first down.
Yeah, see, now the Cowboys will either get a first down or be in great shape to get a first down. Well, you talk about a gutsy call by Jimmy Johnson. That was. But then you have to give credit to Steve Berline for executing it. Here's a guy who didn't come to the Cowboys till the regular season started. But thank goodness he didn't play early because he didn't know the plays. Troy Aikman was injured. Berline came in against the Redskins. They've won 5 straight.
3rd and short. The give is to Smith, and he won't get it. They'll have to punt. A loss of a yard. That's twice that happened.
That's good Bear defense. The Bears have no timeout. The Cowboys can let the clock run down, but just to 2 minutes.
The officials have stopped the clock now at 2:10.
They probably stopped it for a measurement. Then there'll be a 2-minute stoppage for the 2-minute warning. Then there'll be another stoppage and change of possession. Good defense. You see McMichael come across here. McMichael come across where he couldn't get that extra play.
Now they've started the clock and will get the 2-minute warning. It's Jim Harbaugh loosening up on the sideline. Dallas leading 17-13, 2 minutes to play.
No AC, no show.
Say you need something set overnight.
Those prima donnas.
There are a few companies you can call.
The part's on its way.
But say you need it by 10:30 a.m. Guaranteed, there are 2. But only one is so efficient and reliable. They get it there on time for far less.
It's showtime.
Which is why to some people, there is only one, UPS.
Imagine a rent-a-car company that offers special delivery right to your door. That's Enterprise.
Here, let me help you.
Enterprise, a special rent-a-car company that gives you special delivery.
If your face were square, shaving would be simple, but your face has curves. You need the Schick Tracer, with a blade that flexes to put more of the blade edge against your skin. Tracer from Schick traces every curve on your face.
Pat Summerall with John Madden at Soldier Field, Chicago. The Bears out of timeouts. Dallas has 3. They have the punting team in. Saxon deep.
There, Jimmy Johnson told us last night that somewhere in the game he's going to have a trick in the kicking game. I don't think it would be here.
No, I don't. I agree with you. Wolford is back deep for the Bears. Saxon's kick is not very good, but it'll take a Cowboy roll, and they're going to have a long way to go. Gant downed it at the 4, 52-yard punt.
Oh, of course, the clock is stopped now. Change of possession stops the clock, but that's the last time that the Bears will be able to stop it because they used all 3 of their timeouts. They've used the 2-minute warning, and they've used the change of possession. So they have to go the length of the field in 1:50. That is possible to do.
They'll have to go 96 yards to do it. It's been done before. Remember the famous drive by Denver against Cleveland?
John Elway?
Yep.
They still call that the drive.
The drive.
In both Denver and Cleveland.
Harbaugh from the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Waddle, covered by Hope. 1:45 left now.
The other thing with these playoffs is the finality. You get all the teams in the playoffs, and only one is going to win their last game. And the other team has to lose, has to live with that loss.
2nd and 10, it's Anderson. And he gets out of bounds at about the 10. With Robert Williams in pursuit. 7-yard gain.
And I think when the Bears are down here now, the thing they have to think is get a couple first downs, then try and get the ball towards midfield, and then take your shots for the end zone. You can't take them from back here.
3rd and 3. Ball is at the 11-yard line. Harbaugh to throw it. Chased out of their pocket. Ball's loose. Dallas ball, they were on it. Let's see if they were down. If he was down.
Looks like Bill Bates, number 40, has it. Bill Bates has it. How did he get it?
The ball was out. We got the ball. The ball was out. There was no whistle. There was no whistle. Way out. There was.
This is a huddle of the officials to decide whether the whistle blew before the ball came out.
Down by contact, they're going to say.
They were just looking for some official to say something.
The player is ruled down by contact, no fumble, first down.
Harbaugh got the first down. Jimmy Johnson can't believe it.
Well, down by contact has nothing to do with the fumble unless he fumbled after he was down by contact. I mean, down by contact has to do with spotting the ball. It has nothing to do with fumble. I guess they have to say that the whistle blew before the ball came out.
It's a first down with 1:14 left. Dallas leading 17-13. Harbaugh. Pass is picked off by Bates.
There's the guy every year. They're going to get rid of Bill Bates. Can he make it? Can he play anymore? In the right place, he knows how to play this game.
The 3rd turnover by the Bears. Russell Maryland put the heat on Harbaugh. Bates got the interception.
That's the end of the Bears season.
No turnovers for Dallas. There's the pressure by Maryland.
And I tell you, those two guys have done a heck of a job, those defensive linemen. Russell Maryland putting a lot of pressure on today, and Jim Jeffcoat. And, of course, Bill Bates, one of the great guys in this game. It's always nice to see him come up with a big play.
And the Bears can't stop it.
He truly appreciates it. Once again, Bill Bates was a middle linebacker in the nickel defense. He's just playing zone, reading Harbaugh's eyes, sees the ball thrown, and goes right to it. But he was the guy that the play before had recovered the fumble.
Right.
He was the guy that for years was always one of the slowest guys in the secondary, but always the first guy down on kicks.
That'll be the last play for the Bears. The Cowboys will go to Detroit. We'll be chatting with some of these Cowboy players, Leslie Visser, Pat O'Brien, after the game is over. Mike Ditka and Bill Bates.
Of course, Mike Ditka played for the Bears, played for the Dallas Cowboys, coached for the Cowboys, and coached for the Bears. So these are his two teams. This is his life.
Mike Ditka, a disappointing year, got off to such a great start, but things started to unravel when Anderson got hurt and Muster got hurt, and they just couldn't run the ball. They just couldn't play Mike Ditka football.
No, they couldn't, and today they just couldn't get going, and when they did get in there, they couldn't get the score in, and these Cowboys played awfully well in all areas.
And so once again, the final score from Soldier Field is Dallas 17, the Bears 13. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show. Greg and Terry will have a complete wrap-up of today's game, including interviews with the Cowboys and Bears. Herb Cross will have a report from Houston on today's AFC wildcard game between the Jets and Oilers, and a live interview with the Lions coach Wayne Fontes. You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. Dallas wins it, and they advance.